There is no excuse for you not to have something awesome to do this weekend. You can head over to tomanddanwateringholes.com and check out some of our bar, brewery, and restaurant partners, like the Breeze Whiskey Bar and Lounge in Kissimmee, or maybe Will's Pub, Little Indies, and Dirty Laundry in the Mills 50 area. Those are places that constantly have great drinks and great entertainment.
Yep. And also, if you're in the Cocoa area, of course, Salty Sisters.
Yeah, man.
We've got the Current Seafood Counter at College Park.
Again, just to go back to Salty Sisters for a second, we have a lot of BDMs that are becoming like regulars there.
No, I know. Yeah,
They stop in before they're like going to the beach, and they'll stop in and try to say hi to Tiff. Granted, she is always there because she's always working her ass off.
No, I know. Yeah,
Tiffany, take a day off from your bar. I'm telling you to do that, please.
But she does a great job.
It's an awesome
that's why it's constantly successful.
Because she is constantly successful. Like Tom said, the Current Seafood Counter, they have a new location coming, I would say, in the next couple of months. So that's going to be awesome. The Sullivan Public House is in Sanford. If you like Irish fare, Irish food, your Guinness, watching some sports in that vibe. This is a beautiful bar. Mike Smith, same guy that owns the Current. This is one of his bars. You can go there, ask for him, and check it out. But they got all the Irish good stuff. They got like the Shepherd's, cottage pie, that kind of stuff.
Speaking of Sanford, West End, of course, Celery City, and a new watering hole of ours, 1010 Brewery.
This is a good one, man. Like 1010, Mike and his team over at 1010 Brewing, they're very close to us in this, I guess, Baldwin, Mills 50, Ivanhoe area. He's always doing great stuff, live music, great beers, great people there. 1010's great.
And it's TEN and then the number 10.
Brewery, TEN, the number 10 Brewing. It's because their number on that particular road is 1010.
Yeah.
So when you're driving by, you'll see it. Can't miss it.
And also a really cool concept in Davenport where essentially it is a beer fest. You get a sample cup and you go through, how many taps do they have?
I think they have 40. It was Davenport, Florida's first self-pour beer house. So basically, you pay. They give you either a small cup or a big cup, depending on what you want. And you can kind of go through there and try different beers, different wines. They've got board games. They've got TV.
It's essentially on-demand.
Sounds like somebody's living room.
Beer fest.
It's like going to somebody's man cave and walking around and drinking beers and partying a little bit. It's called Tap That Beer House. It's in Davenport. Pretty darn cool. Yeah, you check in, you present your ID, you check in, and they're going to give you an RFID card to access the beer wall. So there's some tech involved, and I guess you scan the card to get your pours of beer. It sounds amazing, and I'm looking at the screen right now.
Wine bars have been doing this. You don't see it, and then it's cool that they have a beer version of it.
Yeah, this is really, really cool, and you can find out more information about that at tapthatbeerhouse.com.
Yep, it's tomanddanwateringholes.com.
Is a corporate time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom. Real quick, on January 25th, Science on Tap. It's the Orlando Science Center Beer Fest they have every year.
Not only is it their beer fest, but when you go and participate, and it's a beautiful beer fest, all of the money goes to help out the Science Center. And because Tom and I are the center of culture within Orlando, when you think science, Tom and Dan. When you think history, Tom and Dan. And when you think art, Tom and Dan. Or the library, Tom and Dan. We have that. We also can get you testosterone, but don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
Or fireworks? You want some fireworks?
You want fireworks? Don't worry. But don't worry. You want both? I like to do testosterone while I'm holding a sparkler. But don't worry about that.
Want some weed? They pose as medicine? We got that for you.
If you want some weed, you can tell your wife it's medicine. We got that too. But don't worry about all of that. You want to go to Science on Tap, one of the nicest beer fests, and help out the Science Center. If you're a member, you get money off. So, and most of our listeners have already done this, especially if you have a family. It's a great place to take your family.
OSC.org for tickets. Chris Crespo's in studio. How you doing, Chris?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Very
good to see you.
Good to see you, too, man.
Awesome.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Happy
MLK Day. You are underdressed today. Yeah, happy MLK Day.
You know what they say? They say don't dress for the weather that's out there, dress for the weather that you want. So I'm a summer boy.
All right. I've never heard that before, but I like that. I like that.
Common phrase. I got a fortune cookie once.
I like that. That's really good. My daughter and I love fortune cookies. God, we love them. we love love them. Oh, and we're so into it. She reads the fortune, and she believes in it, too. She is really gullible, my daughter. Oh, my God.
Perfect age
I had to drive her up to 7-Eleven to play her 6 numbers.
You should.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
we did.
That's awesome.
I like fortune cookies because they're frozen in time.
Yeah.
Because literally the factory that's been making fortune cookies has not changed the cookie or the fortune inside the paper.
Yeah.
The paper remained exactly the same for, I'm not even joking, 40 years?
Maybe, no. You could go longer.
Like since the 80s? You know what I'm saying? Like maybe earlier.
In the 60s, bro.
Yeah,
like,
when did they invent fortune cookies?
They haven't thought, like, man, we could change it a little bit, make it a little more current.
I got my fortune yesterday. Yesterday, my fortune said, Mr. Gorbachev, bring down that wall. That's what the fortune said.
Yeah.
I go, well, that's not a good fortune. How do I apply that to my life?
It would cost them nothing because they're just printing text on a paper.
I got one fortune that said Tippy Canoe and Tyler too. I don't even know how to apply that. I don't know what that means to my family.
Like, update the fortunes a little bit. Something.
Dude, hold on.
Nothing?
You have been on a streak of really good ideas. This one actually, like, if you went to a fast food restaurant and got a fortune cookie and you opened it up and it said, looking on fleek, bae, you'd be it would blow you out of your chair, right?
It'd be a social media sensation.
If it said like you're sus or something, like it would blow you out of your chair.
You could put like TikTok will be saved by
Oh, I'm so mad about that.
Wouldn't it be more interesting? People are like, whoa,
wow,
like,
it's
the same thing for 40
I'm so
years.
mad about that. What that is also, I'm calling it the great social media victory. I'm like, really? You guys all believe that?
The great victory.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, you moron.
So, Chris, let's talk real quick before we get into the Oscars and the Best Picture nominations.
Sure.
Because I went through them. I watched every trailer.
Hold on a second. Write this down. Tom and Dan fortune cookie with every purchase. Write that down. And they can be stale. It doesn't matter. Merchman, order them, and we'll write all the fortunes.
It absolutely doesn't matter. They can be. They actually should be. They have to be stale.
Every
That's part
fortune,
of the taste.
Every fortune inside of it will be written by Tom and Dan. Write that down. I'm doing it this year.
I like it.
2025, the year. It's the year of the snake, and we're the 2 greatest snakes in Orlando. We're doing it. Write it down.
So before we go through the Best Picture nominations, because I didn't know 80% of them.
Sure. Shape of Water is all I know.
No,
yeah, it's back. Re-release. It's back. He nominated 10 times.
I know Shape of Water, Schindler's List,
The Artist.
Yeah, The Artist.
Let's talk about the new Mark Wahlberg movie.
Hold on.
Flight to Risk.
I got a little bit of it. I got just a little bit of it to play.
Nice.
That we deemed before we started the show Fear Bozo.
Should we get a group of people together, a group of listeners to go see Fear Bozo? Hold on. Here's a little bit of the trailer.
It does not look good.
This is it
looks entertaining.
The official trailer number 2 of the movie Flight Risk, a.k.a. Flight Bozo.
Deputy Harris? Daryl Booth. Hope you like flying. I never flew a fugitive before.
I never flew I never done flowed a fugitive. But what kind of voice is that,
What is
Mark?
he doing?
Mark, what voice are you doing there? I never done throwed a rock at black people. Wait, I did when I was 15. I never done hit a Vietnamese before with a piece
stick.
of wood. No, yes, I did when I was 16. Got arrested for it, then asked to be pardoned in 2014.
Yep.
Y'all need a pilot? This guy's terrible.
So, the Bozo haircut is distracting.
What a reveal in the trailer when it happens halfway. His hat comes off. And he's got,
Let me see if I can find this.
And there's a close-up. I saw the trailer yesterday again in a theater. The wig work is not great. Let me tell you. The lines
Why
there.
Not just shave it?
Shave it for real, yeah.
Yeah. Why not just like Jim Carrey did?
Like really commit to it.
And look, I'm not making a joke for Sonic. Yeah, I'm not even making a joke.
Yeah.
I saw that scene, and then I actually watched. I haven't seen the movie yet, but there's a behind the scenes thing you can watch on it. Mm-hmm. I mean, Jim Carrey will do. I mean, like, no wonder he plays a great villain in the Sonic movie
because he goes full on. Yeah,
he does it.
You could always tell, just like in Demi Moore when she did, she shaved her head and
G.I. Jane.
G.I. Jane. You could always tell when it's a real head shave in a movie.
Yeah.
I don't know,
versus a bald cap.
I've got it up. If twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live or at Tom and Dan Live on YouTube, you can see
the Fear Bozo.
Yeah, and you know what? You are correct. I can see that is a wig even in the trailer.
Yeah.
Just from a very low
and then
resolution.
that shot where he goes, you need a pilot towards the end of the trailer. You can really see like where it touches his scalp, and you can almost see the glue holding the
Oh, look, he's got Michael Jordan. Look, he's got the flightman on his. Look at that. It's flight. It looks like the Michael Jordan flightman on his.
Oh, yeah.
On his head.
The airman.
Jumpman. Jumpman. Yeah, Jumpman. That's what he's called.
The real head shave scene in movies always has a different energy because it's a one take.
Yeah,
they
true.
have
You're
no,
right.
and you can feel it.
Yeah.
And then it's like they should do more like scenes where they have to do a one take because there's no going back.
Right.
Because it does, like even in Sonic when Eggman was shaving his head.
I've seen that scene.
It's like when you're watching it, I'm like, oh, they're really shaving his head,
It's
and
hot,
then I'm like, it's a different energy in the movie.
One of the best examples of that is Full Metal Jacket, because it's a Vietnam War movie, and half the movie takes place at boot camp. So obviously a big part of boot camp is getting your head shaved.
Yeah,
right? So they had the actors, they shaved all their heads for real. They filmed it, they shaved their heads. They shot all the boot camp stuff. They shot all the Vietnam War stuff with their hair grown out. And then they sent the actors home for a few months. Their hair had been growing back out. And then Stanley Kubrick decided he wanted to reshoot the head shaving stuff for the very last thing that they shot for the movie. So they brought all the actors back, shaved their heads for real, and they all looked sad and depressed for real because they thought they were done, and they grew their hair back and they're getting it shaved again. So if you watch Full Metal Jacket and watch them get their head shaved, those are real expressions of remorse and anger that they have to sit through that one more time.
See, that's a brilliant move from the director because he probably knew this is how
you would get that reaction.
You get the best reaction.
Stanley Kubrick is considered one of the best.
Yeah.
So.
Also, in this, like, I'm assuming that the entire movie takes place within the small fuselage of this tiny Piper Cub plane or whatever.
Yes, it looks like a little, like it's all in one location, being in this plane as three characters.
Like one of those, like that elevator movie that, like the entire movie.
There's Devil, the one where there's 5 characters in the elevator.
Yeah,
there's also Phone Booth where Colin Farrell's in the phone booth the whole time.
Yeah. I don't like these movies. I like I like it. You know what I like? The fact that we can we have a universe and we can spiral into it and use all of the stuff. I don't want to be
resources.
Like I am not a movie guy, but I don't like being stuck inside a plane for 2.5 hours.
It might feel
Bo's over
claustrophobic.
here, like one of them, I'll put up this scene. Look at this scene. He's like choking her. He's like, "You ever seen a face turn this color before? Get out of here, you moron! I hate you."
Directed by Mel Gibson too.
They don't put that.
No, they put from the director of Apocalypto and Braveheart.
I saw that, so they don't. They
don't say Mel Gibson.
Okay, hold on a second. Why? Is it because he yells the N-word?
Yes, exactly. Because he's a terrible person.
He's a terrible person.
Yes, he's an awful person.
Bastard.
And he is now has the hour passed yet? Our current president has named John Voight, Mel Gibson, and Sylvester Stallone as his ambassadors to Hollywood.
All right. Is that a thing?
It is now in 2025.
Did they get berets?
Thank you, Mr. Trump. I did. Thank you, sir. Yeah. They're totally. I want the berets, so thank you.
Is there ever been
it's too liberal, right?
Too liberal.
Yeah.
No, Schwarzenegger's actually he makes them anyway. It's wild.
Oh, that's
he's
wild.
So different from it. But
crazy.
Stallone has been pro Trump since day one. He's like, thank you, Mr. President. Ever since Trump pardoned some like old dead boxer, Stallone has been all for this guy.
All right.
So now they're going to go to Hollywood and be his eyes and ears and help make America.
They're going
to make Hollywood great again. Yeah.
So all right.
So that's why, Mel Gibson.
Fantastic.
The Mel Gibson movie.
I love it.
Let's because we're going to run out of time here. I want to go through all the Best Picture nominees of the Oscars because the Oscars are coming up soon, and
beginning of March, I think.
And I feel like now more than ever, a lot of people are unfamiliar with what the Best Picture nominees are and haven't probably seen them.
And I think also this year's a little weird because of the lack of movies due to the strikes the year before and the lack of product in the pipeline. It's been just less stuff out there. So you have to look further for movies to be considered Best Picture. And I will say at this time, before we even start naming movies, there is no clear front runner as to who's going to win a bunch of stuff, take a bunch of stuff home. So it'll be interesting to see how this shakes out over the next month or so.
Now, I've seen only one of these movies, which is Wicked.
That's I've seen Wicked as well.
We've all seen Wicked.
Yeah, we've all seen Wicked.
But I have not seen the rest of them, but I did watch every trailer.
Okay.
And then I came up with a little nickname for the movie. And,
Ooh, I love that. I love that. Oh, my God. Like Flybozo. Like Flybozo.
Flybozo.
Hold on. I love playing this game.
Old blind man with a gun.
What if we guess it? What if we guess it?
Yeah. Well, now, Daniel, are you familiar with any of these movies?
No.
Yeah, okay,
I mean, come on. You know me, buddy.
So, Chris,
Shape of Water.
Shape of Water.
Have you seen them all, by the way?
I have not seen all of them, but I've seen some of them.
Right.
I know what they all are. I think I do.
So,
What about the one with Demi Moore in it?
The Substance?
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's my favorite movie.
She freak out or
oh,
something?
my, what a movie.
Because she's like an old...
Because she's aging out of Hollywood. Because she's a 6-year-old playing a 5th-year-old and looks incredible.
My nickname for that movie is MILF Takes Female Testosterone.
I like that. Joan Rogan. Yeah. I would have called her Joan Rogan. Yeah,
Joan Rogan.
But we'll take her idea.
All right.
awesome.
Well, let's start with The Brutalist.
Yeah.
That's the movie I just saw
my God.
yesterday.
That's about my... that is literally about my proctologist.
Or
Because it's rough back there.
Sad White Coming to America.
Is there a McDowell's in there?
Who's the actor?
Adrian Brody.
Adrian Brody. It's a period piece about the beginning of New York and people coming over from Europe to Staten Island, and that's what at least it looks like in this.
Yeah, the trailer doesn't really give much. It is about a guy coming over from Europe. It's Adrian Brody's character. He's a Hungarian Jew who just gets out of a concentration camp. And the movie starts with him getting to America. And in Europe, before World War II, he was an architect. But when he gets to America, just like every immigrant, he's like living in a storage closet and has to make his way. So it's an American epic about an immigrant who starts from nothing and tries to achieve the American dream and tries to, be this great artist, this great exceptional singular artist that he is. And it's a 3.5-hour film with a 10 to 15 minute intermission. And I saw it yesterday, and it's a pretty incredible film. Like, I just saw it, so I'm still kind of sitting with it. I don't have fully formed opinions, but it is, even though I just saw it, it's technically, like you're saying, it's a 2024 movie. It's for sure one of the best 2024 movies. If it wins Best Picture, if it wins, Adrian Brody will probably win for acting. If it wins, I totally understand why, because it's truly a big, huge work of art that works from start to finish. I was never not engaged. I was never bored. Not a single storyline, not a single character. I was fully invested the whole time. And the two people I were with were similarly, fully engaged the whole time.
Chat room checking in. This is from Riki. He says, 19 hours ago on Reddit, that they actually used AI to enhance Adrian Brody's accent in this movie.
Man, they use AI for everything these days.
Did not know that.
Wherever they can squeeze AI into, though. Yeah, he is playing Hungarian, so he does have a strong accent the whole time. If not speaking a few scenes in, I believe,
How would
Hungarian.
someone sound hungry?
Well, he pulled it off. I'll tell you.
Interesting.
I was definitely starving.
Yes.
So why do you think it's called The Brutalist?
Because architecture.
It's a style of
architecture.
Okay.
Yeah.
You uncultured piece of crap. How do you not know that?
Yeah.
You blanking moron, and you call yourself a fan of the Museum of Art? Did I not just say at the beginning of this that we are the epicenter of true culture in Orlando?
I forgot to do the thing I always do. I was like, can you explain for the listeners who may not know what brutalist means? I mean, we all know.
I know. But for them.
I mean, we are in Florida.
Explain it. Can you explain it to these fat airboat lovers?
I just think of some warrior hitting somebody.
Me too. I had to look it up.
I will say, though, obviously, haven't seen the film in retrospect, The Brutalist, while that being a style of architecture, you can also kind of think about characters being brutal to each other. There is maybe one character in particular I'm thinking of that probably did the most awful thing in the film. So, double meaning there.
Spoiler, finger in the
Hey. Why you giving away all the spoilers? Why you giving away all the spoilers, man?
I'm sorry.
That's how you win an Oscar. That's how you win an Oscar.
No, that was Nosferatu. I mixed up the movies.
Oh, no, Nosferatu is Sex in a Casket. Is Nosferatu.
So, speaking of sex, when I saw this movie, I'd never even heard of it. It's called Challengers.
It's It's about the space shuttle, right?
No.
It's a sequel to the space shuttle.
I've nicknamed.
Oh my god! Where do we go from here? No.
I nicknamed this movie Tennis Threesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Tennis three-way, yeah.
And because it is about a female tennis prodigy that hurts herself, becomes a coach,
And then just starts eating it?
And no. Coaches boys or two men who, you know what happens.
Oh my God! They put it through the net. I've seen those movies. I've seen those pornos.
And it's Zendaya.
Everybody that's seen porno when they go to the tennis court,
It's through the net.
The dude puts it through the net.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah, you always go through the net.
Don't do that. That's filthy. Don't put it through the net. It's gross. There's mildew on that. Jesus Christ! They haven't even pressure washed that in like 19, 20 years.
Give me a new net over here.
So have you seen Challenger?
I did. I saw Challengers when it came out in theaters earlier this year. I actually want to rewatch it. I think it's currently on Prime because it's an Amazon MGM movie. And it's great. It's got a great soundtrack. It's got a Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross soundtrack that's like 90s house techno, just like pumping the whole time. And then in the movie, characters just having like normal dramatic scenes, are just talking to each other, but the music is doom, 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 like almost drowning them out. It's almost funny how the music takes like is front and center throughout the whole film, and it's really well made. I really like this director. Is this Italian guy named Luca Guadagnino, who's made some amazing, interesting like dramas over the last 10 years. That's a great name. And he has two movies this year. He made Challengers, and he made that movie I talked about it last time I was here, I think, Queer, with Daniel Craig. He also directed that as well.
Oh, you mean 50s gay James Bond?
There you go.
Oh, 50s gay James Bond. I'll watch that.
Yeah, that's exactly correct.
I'll watch that all day long.
That's so correct.
Finally, somebody who speaks to my soul when it comes to movies. I'm getting the accurate titles.
Same guy made both those movies.
Yeah. So that is another movie that's nominated called
Tell
Queer.
me about 50s gay James Bond.
It's exactly in the title.
Just add drugs, add heroin.
Okay.
And ayahuasca.
Yeah, Daniel Craig playing a homosexual man in the 1950s.
He's a hot homosexual
in Mexico.
man.
In Mexico.
Oh, I bet
he's an expatriate.
Daniel Craig as a gay man is a super snack, right?
Yes, he dresses well, but the thing is, in this movie,
nobody's like muscular and clean.
Well, no, in this movie, he's playing. It's a sort of biographical William S. Burroughs story,
all right.
and he was a heroin junkie. So most of the movie, Craig is very sweaty and like in need of a fix, and even goes through withdrawals at times.
I like a sweaty Craig.
It is a more distressed, worn, street worn Craig,
so
which still is very snacky.
So he's showing like some range.
Oh, for sure. He's a great actor.
Yeah.
He's a very, very good actor. His American accent in the past has been dodgy, but I feel like he did a pretty good job.
Favorite movie that he was ever in? Cowboys vs. Aliens.
Cowboys and Aliens.
Yeah, Cowboys Aliens by far.
Man.
I mean, greatest movie of all time.
What a letdown. Oh my goodness.
Next movie, which when I watched the trailer, I'd never even seen that like even pop up in any social media or now we're living in these bubbles of algorithms.
Sure.
And if this is far away from your algorithm, you just don't see it. Mm-hmm. And it's a movie called A Different Man, which I've nicknamed Ogre Face. But I say it
like Shrek?
No.
Like, get out of my swamp!
Ogre Face. What's her name?
So like Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
Ogre Face. Ogre Face.
So A Different Man is a story about a man that has a horribly disfigured ogre face.
Haven't we had enough of these movies? Yeah, it's like, okay, look, we know he's going to be successful.
He's a Rocky Dennis.
We know we should look past
it's a
his
Rocky
horrible
Dennis
face.
Yeah.
And
then he goes, and this is all in the trailer. I'm not.
Is this the one where it's a real guy with a real ogre face?
Yes, one of the guys is real.
That's why you got to be careful.
The second
he's a legit ogre face.
Describe it. Go ahead and describe it.
You can't say that.
So
because he can't do anything about it.
Ogre Face is a movie about a man with an ogre face. Okay. And he goes through.
That's my favorite DJ, Paul Ogreface.
Paul Ogreface.
He goes through a medical procedure which takes away his ogre face.
Yes,
right?
It's a normal face
because
I shouldn't say normal.
He was
non-ogre-y.
Yeah,
he's lumpy and melted.
Also, he was tormented by his ogre face, and he wanted, and then he got his ogre face removed and a new life. But then a new ogre face comes, and he's the life of the party. He's life of the party. Ogre face.
And then he misses it,
and everybody likes him.
Yeah.
Everybody likes the new ogre face.
Fish. This is the children's book, The Pow Pow Fish, where he has the shiny scales, and he's like, I wish I could be like everybody else. And then when he finally gets it, like, right? Is it? I think hold on, this gets no Oscar.
Pow Pow Face.
This is Pow Pow Face.
Pow Pow Face.
This gets no Oscar because this is a children's book. No sir.
It's a slick adaptation.
And you get no Oscar if it's a real face. It has to be prosthetic face.
Well,
one's prosthetic and one's real.
Yeah, the new Ogre Man.
Oh, that's just insulting to the real Ogre Man.
Yeah, the real new Ogre Man comes and he's the life of the party. Everybody loves
What do you
him.
mean?
Hot chicks.
Hot chicks are
What the hell are you doing?
I relax. I like it when Chris is here. I relax.
Hot chicks are kissing him. They love it.
We're kissing on his face or just kissing his body?
No, his face.
What?
And then the old ogre face, who now has a regular human face,
That was Sebastian Stan. He looks
like,
great.
I wish I had an ogre face again.
So what does he do?
Would you never wish that?
So he invents a potion.
I don't know. Well, that's the movie.
That's what.
I don't know.
Now you gotta watch it to find out what happens.
I might actually watch this.
It's currently available now, I think, on Max or Hulu. It's out on for streaming at home. So this one is available to watch now. It had a really small theatrical release over the last few months.
It's called Ogre Face.
It's called Ogre Face, aka A Different Man. A Different Man. The guy with the real ogre face, that dude was in a movie 11 years ago called Under the Skin, a Scarlett Johansson movie, a weird, cool, strange sci-fi movie that I recommend for anyone looking for something
He's like the
dark
ball
and strange.
Of he's like the ball of Hollywood right now, right?
Well, between two movies, I wouldn't consider that a ball of Hollywood, but I think right now he's doing pretty good.
Yeah, they love that guy though, right?
I guess after this movie, we'll see if maybe they'll do Mask 2 or just remake Mask. I don't know. That's the only reference I have for this type of condition.
Well, I think like he is like, and then I think I actually talked about him with my wife one time. I think I saw him on like the dais of like a
panel of some sort.
Yeah, and then he was like sitting there, and then I was like, he's like actually looks like him. No, I'm not trying to be funny. Or
yeah.
I'm like, oh, he actually looks like that. And then I was thinking about it, and I was like, so he probably wants to just have like regular roles.
Oh, sure, if possible. Why not? Just play the brother,
right? And just be like the guy,
some character.
Yeah, just be like in a movie where it's
not defined by his look.
Correct.
Sure,
which is going to be hard. I'm just going to be real with you. It kind of does break.
Hollywood often allows like one. Of a type. Like,
I don't know if we're ready for that.
Like we have Peter Dinklage. We don't need any more little people actors out here. We'll have this guy.
This isn't a little person.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Now we'll have this guy, so we don't need any more like deformed face or genetically abnormal.
Yeah. Do they fight for? They
do. They fight for the roles. They fight for the same. Just like how many roles are there for these type of? They have to have stuff written for them.
Yeah.
I hope he's the new Batman.
I would like that. And he's ultra violent. Ultra violent because he's mad as hell in his face.
The first R-rated Batman.
Yeah, he does it. He's dropping you off buildings and stuff. He's murdering you good, running you over with the Batmobile because he's mad.
But they make the Batman mask
wide open,
all lumpy like
Make the whole suit lumpy. Yeah. Why stop at the face?
Hey, he put himself out there. He must have known.
Yeah.
Making some jokes.
Public figure.
Yeah,
Come on, you're rich now.
He's doing fine.
Although you're right. This is the only movie he could be cast in. This.
Well, that's kind of what
some sort.
Yeah, we'll see if he can continue.
Game of Thrones.
Hills Have Eyes.
No, you do Game of Thrones. You do Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Yeah. There you go. Fantasy stuff. Yeah.
Next movie.
Voice work. Do Bob's Burgers.
Perfect.
Next movie up. Another movie I've never heard of. How to Have Sex, which I nicknamed British Spring Break, because that's what it is. It's a British girls going on spring break. And
no sex, please. We're British.
And then I don't even, from the actual trailer, I'm not even sure what happens.
Is this a coming-of-age British lady movie or something?
Well, one of the British girls is sad walking barefoot through Tijuana at the end.
British girls are sad when they go to Mexico.
Well, we're just like, like, what happened to you? Is this, because, anyway.
You have to climb out of a dumpster or something?
Yeah. So, I don't know if you've seen this.
No, not for sure. This hasn't had I don't think it's had a full release here stateside.
Okay. Yeah, disgusting, Chris. Why would you say that?
Like, oh man, like you said, I'm relaxed. I'm having a good time.
It is like hot co-ed girls.
Are they hot?
Spring break, yeah. And
is this like one of those nudity movies?
There is some nudity.
Yeah.
It looks like there is, and like lots of party scenes with, like I said,
drugs and stuff.
Co-eds on spring break, just partying and hooking up with each other.
It's on Prime right now if you want to. If you want to check it out, see what's up with it.
There you go.
So, readily available.
And next up, we spoke about it already, but Nosferatu.
That looks good.
I saw that around Christmas time, around the holiday. Fantastic film. One of my favorites of the year for sure. Very, very well made. If you're looking
Is it scary?
Scary, no, it's moody.
Pretty.
It's intense looking. Oh, it's gorgeous to look at. The whole shadowy, dark, gothic look is fantastic. If that's the type of movie you're looking for, this thing's going to deliver. I've heard this director now described as a like gothic horror, or at least the movie gothic horror Wes Anderson, because everything is so precise and the sets are so like the production design is so meticulous.
Yeah.
And it's about the costuming and everything, including in addition to the story and all that. Very well made.
What was the negative heat that I was kind of hearing? Right when it got released, there were I would say bigger critics and/or publications were talking about pacing. Did you catch any of that?
I like
being slow.
I like the
boring?
pacing of it. I feel like this guy's movies typically are kind of slower. I mean, The Lighthouse, The Witch, they have very particular set paces that then build up to big endings or
Right,
weird
so it's
endings.
deliberate. If you don't like that, you're not going to like it.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like within half an hour of the movie, if you're not into it, the movie's not going to change.
Gotcha.
But I think you'll know pretty quickly watching this thing based on the opening scene of what happens. If you're like, "Whoa, this is interesting," then the whole movie is going to deliver for you. And then Skarsgård, Bill Skarsgård, the one who played Pennywise, the clown, right in the It movies.
Yeah,
he's Count Orlok, and he does a performance where he's 33 years old, and he's very believably playing a much older character.
I do that.
Yeah.
I'm only 48.
A
lot of people don't know that.
He's pulling it down. He's doing a great job.
Recently, lately, people are like, "What are you, 66, 67 years old?" I'm like, "No, I am 48 years old."
Well, the wheelchair does throw people off.
Well, yeah. I thought by painting it black and making it blend
flames on it.
Yeah,
the Guy Fieri flames.
Yeah,
he does an incredible job. Also, he does this he changes his voice, or he speaks with a very low, deep voice. That right after the movie came out, all over TikTok, it became a thing to imitate his voice and do videos with the way he speaks is very deep, and it's very, very entertaining. So it has it's made an impact. People have noticed it and are fans of the movie, which is cool. It cost them $50 million to make, and I think it's made about 90 so far. So it's a reasonable hit for being an R-rated, weird vampire.
Yeah.
movie.
Why R-rated? Violence?
Yeah, it gets pretty violent. It's also very sexy and a
we get
little
to
bit
see
of
some
language.
pale white boobage.
You get to see a bit more than you'd expect.
Really?
Of
Vampire
both
bush?
Ladies and vampires.
Yeah, vampire bush. They don't shave down there.
Vampires, no, you get a full frontal
You
vampire.
actually have to invite them to shave down there. You have to be like, I beckon you to shave down there.
Else they won't do it.
You have to actually set out the razor and the coochie cream.
It's also set in a horrible, uncomfortable time.
Yeah, 1890s.
Yeah.
In where
Europe? Oof.
just rats and doo-doo everywhere.
There are a lot of rats in the movie. Yeah.
And there were so many rats around this time, and even before that, there were even in paintings, they'd paint rats in the background.
Yeah.
There was just rats
in
everywhere.
hopes that the rats wouldn't eat their painting. Don't eat them.
Yeah. Oh, I recognize my own in that painting. Yeah, it is. The movie is rat crazy, and it's awesome.
They used
it's
real rats in the movie,
Somewhere between 2,000 and 5,000 rats were used throughout the making of this movie, which actually pales to. There's a 1979.
Well, hold on. How do you lock down the set? Aren't you just releasing them into L.A.? Or wherever they
shot it.
Yeah,
I mean, if it's in a warehouse, you got to check, make sure there's no holes. They contain them somehow.
Trained rats, though.
They're super smart.
And it was a mix too. Of some of them are trained, and some of them were less trained.
Ooh, just like the firefighters. We had some of them are prisoners.
Yeah, exactly.
They have some prisoners out there, prison rats.
The actors have had plenty of interviews where they talk about the smell. They're just peeing and pooping everywhere, so what are you going to do? You're still dealing with rats.
If I were an actor on the set, I'd do the same thing.
At this point, if they're doing it, Willem Dafoe, he's probably squatting down.
Why not?
Just getting one out.
Next movie is called Nickel Boys. Which I've nicknamed.
Look at this photograph.
Black Wonder Years.
I like that. Oh my God, Kenesha Cooper, I love it.
And I guess in which from the trailer, it's kind of confusing.
Does Daniel Stern reprise his VO role?
The VO, yeah. No, it's actually Fred Savage in a weird twist.
Oh my God, people hate Fred Savage now. He's a Gravy, right?
Yeah. People like him. He got me too'd out of.
Fred Savage used to direct a lot lot of movies of these
TV shows
grabbing boobies everywhere.
Yeah, he's grabbing them?
Yeah, always grabbing everybody.
He got me too out of a bunch of work.
Did. And they're like, get out of here,
10 years
Savage.
ago.
He's like, I can't help myself. I love Winnie Cooper's ass.
I didn't know Fred had it in him.
Oh, yeah.
That's what shocked people. Yeah,
Fred's a little more Rittenhouse than we thought. Yeah, he's a right-wing tough guy, I think.
Apparently, yeah.
So, do you know what Nickel Boys is about?
I know it's an adaptation of a book by Colson Whitehead, who is a great writer. I read several of his books. Have not had a chance to see Nickel Boys, but he did a book, Underground Railroad, that got turned into a really good Amazon series. I think another thing he did got adapted recently. So he's on a good run as a writer. And Nickel Boys, when that came out, that won all sorts of awards, book wise. So it makes sense that the movie would be could be adapted well because it's good source material to work from.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah.
But it does also, it looks like another like period piece about a time in America, super racist time, like maybe set in the 40s or 50s.
Yeah, he sets a lot of stuff that goes back. The Underground Railroad is, obviously it's applied in the title. It's like late 1800s. I think Nickel Boys is early 1900s. He did another one, The Intuitionist, which is like early 1900s. That one's about, he wrote a book that's about like elevator operators in the early days of elevators. And now there's like a black woman in the city who's like the only black woman elevator, not operator.
Oh, that actually sounds interesting.
Not operator, repair person. But they have different styles of repair, and she's an intuitionist when it comes to elevator repair. It's a strange book that's fascinating.
That sounds good, though.
Yeah, The Intuitionist. This guy's a good writer, Colson Whitehead.
That sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
We know an elevator repairman named Pudge.
They're
Not black. No, he's not black, nor a woman.
You still might like the book.
And he loves fishing. Shout out to Pudge.
Still may enjoy
Pudge,
the book.
the fisherman elevator repairman.
Yeah.
That's a resume.
We love you, Pudge.
And if you ask him if there's any women in his industry, he will say absolutely not.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So maybe that part's accurate.
He died with this one lady back in the day. Like, he died with this one black lady.
Yeah.
She was the lady.
She did it. She was the one lady.
You got to be tough to be the only lady elevator repairman
in the early 1900s.
And you're black. And you're black.
Yeah.
You're the toughest lady in the world.
Like 1930 Chicago or whatever, Philadelphia.
So
what's the name of that book?
The Intuitionist.
The Intuitionist.
Yeah.
Next movie, a movie called A Real Pain. Which I've nicknamed Two White Dudes Go on a Trip.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Whitey's in Europe.
Yeah. The two white dudes backpack through Europe and find themselves.
Yeah.
Come on.
Jesse Eisenberg and whoever
the one from Succession, Kieran Culkin.
Okay.
Yeah. And
I don't like Kieran Culkin.
You don't like him?
I don't like his face.
Well, not much you can do about that.
Something about his face. I have nothing against the man. Just
he's gonna have to pull an ogre face to change that.
The only Culkin I like is Macaulay.
Yeah.
I'm a Macaulay man.
What about Rory, this poor guy over here? No one ever thinks about Rory.
There's only one McCulkin, and we all know who it is. Anybody else? That's not my McCulkin.
This one is written and directed by Eisenberg, and it is exactly like you described. Just two white guys going through Europe and then
they have a falling out at some point, but then they got to get back together.
And then at the end, they're like,
bro, and then they hug, and they're like,
better
we
friends
learned
than
a
ever.
lot about this. I learned to be present with my family.
Exactly. It did get incredible reviews at festivals. It had an okay theatrical run, and I think it maybe just this weekend came out on Hulu. So this is also now available to watch at home. A decent amount of these movies are available to watch right now, which is pretty cool, pretty interesting.
Also in the movie, and they show this in the trailer, Jesse Eisenberg has a son that he's like FaceTiming with, and he left to go.
That guy doesn't look like he has a son.
Let me put this out there: I have no friends that I know good enough, and that I'm good enough friends with to go on a month-long European backpacking trip and leave my family and my son behind to help my buddy work through his problems.
What's he, single? Yeah, if I ask you to do that, you tell me to piss off. I got to work through my problems. You got to come with me.
I'm going to stay with my family and my son. I'm not going to FaceTime and be like, I'm sorry, I'm helping my buddy who's 32 years old work through his emotional problems.
I'm sorry I'm missing your 8th birthday.
He's sad. My buddy's sad.
Yeah. He's trying to figure life out.
So we're going to go to Morocco. Get out of
here. But it looks like a comedy with drama.
Yeah, road comedy drama, exactly. It's you described it perfectly, actually.
Next up, The Substance, which we talked about with Demi Moore. My wife wanted me to go. I think this is maybe at the Enzion, or she's like, this. I've heard a lot of good things, and I watched it, and I'm like,
it is my favorite movie of 2024.
Oh, really?
It is such a wild, crazy, well-made movie. It sets up its own little weird world that has and it does this great thing where it establishes right away through the characters like 4 or 5 rules that the character has to do, and they're very clear. And then you see them do the rules, and you see what happens, and then of course the next step is what happens when the rules get broken, and the rules break one at a time, and the consequences get worse and worse. And the final 10 minutes of the movie is like no matter what happens in the first 2 hours, you will not be able to predict what happens in the last 10-15 minutes. It's so wild.
I think I could predict it.
Even
the wild ones. Like when people give me wild scenarios, like you can't predict the end. I was like, I'm already there.
And then he nailed it.
I'm already there, man.
I already wrote it.
So this is
a lot of people in the chat room just to help you out are saying incredible.
It's so good.
Yeah, like people love that movie.
And that one is, excuse me, it was distributed by a company called Mubi, M-U-B-I. They have their own streaming service.
Movies? That's EJ has those. They're humongous.
I'm trying to reduce my
movies. Massive nipples. And they're hairy on the end.
Oh, right around like a squished spider.
Like you could almost twist them into a rhino's horn.
You could like on Amazon Prime, you could technically subscribe to a 7-day movie trial, watch The Substance, and then unsubscribe, and then not have to pay anything to watch The Substance. That's one way it's out there. But it's also just available for rent or purchase normally. So it's readily available. And also, I think it got a re-release this weekend in conjunction with the nominations coming out. So it's playing again like the Winter Park Regal and stuff like that. Definitely worth seeing in a theater because it has a great score. And if you can see it in a theater with people, the reactions of other people around you will be as entertaining as the movie itself, because this is a movie that elicits reactions.
I watched it at 3 times the speed illegally here at the studio.
As God intended.
And I can tell you the Dennis Quaid scene is...
Dennis Quaid is so
Kupo
good.
J hit the nail on the head. There is a scene, I don't want to say any more about it, but Dennis Quaid has an eating scene that's
it's so disgusting. Oh, my goodness.
Phenomenal.
This movie, for some people with a weaker stomach, to be fair, trigger warning, it gets gross at times.
I thought the ending was going to gross.
The ending is insane. But the food stuff.
You can understand how I would like that, even though I watched it on 3 times the speed. You can understand how I would like that, right? It's way more up my alley than any movie anybody's ever said.
It's so over the top. Yeah. You would love this movie. The food stuff in the movie is somehow the grossest part of the movie.
I don't know if Tom will like it, though. Well, but I think you should watch it.
When I first saw it...
That's fair, It's fair.
Okay, let me tell you my opinion when I saw the trailer. I thought to myself...
Oh, yeah, that's right. You saw the trailer.
I saw the trailer, and I thought to myself, I'm like, well, this kind of movie where a substance gets presented to the main character that opens up limitless possibilities, like the movie Limitless or whatever.
Like the Limitless film.
Or whatever. Yeah. There's always that...
That's exactly what I thought of.
Hey, if you take this medication, it'll, but be careful because you have to be responsible,
right.
And then of course they're not responsible.
Remember,
and they're abusing it.
Feed them after midnight.
That's the fun of it. You want to see them break the rules, and then bad things happen.
Yeah. Never take 2 Adderall. You'll get too fast.
Will I?
So then, anyway, and then I was like, it's been done before, but you're telling me there's a swerve.
Yeah, there is a bit of a swerve in that setup, which they do not reveal in the trailer. The trailer... to be fair, the trailer sells you one thing, and then the movie is actually slightly different in a very interesting way.
I didn't know about any of the gross stuff until people started telling me, which is why I sought it out.
Yeah. It's
like the trailer to me
doesn't give you any sense of the body horror.
That's
stuff
not why I went and found it.
Yeah.
The curiosity in me, it drives me crazy when I can't see something. I'll go to it. I'm like, I got to see what this is all about.
Yeah,
that's why I watched Terrifier 3 on 3 times the speed, so I could see all of the gory parts and see what people are talking about.
Just get it over with.
Yeah.
And so
was Terrifier 3 nominated for Best Picture this year?
No.
You know what? I will say it's a better movie than a lot of the other movies out there that people tried to say were good.
It came out the same weekend as Joker 2 and made more money.
So for what it is, it's fine. It's not a good movie,
but for what it is, it works. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I'm curious, Chris, in these movies that you've seen, would you recommend me watching The Substance or The Brutalist?
Boy, that's tough.
As if I was going to check out one of these.
Well, the Substance is easier.
Yeah.
I mean, do you watch Challengers too?
Challengers, of those 3 movies, I think you would like Challengers the most, and that's the most fun of those. Although The Substance is such a wild time. The difference between The Substance and The Brutalist is The Substance, like it's crazy. It's a crazy movie. The Brutalist,
I like the overly lit, sterile, almost like the bathroom scenes in Substance,
yeah,
are like
they're like bathrooms in The
and then
Shining.
you can hear it, like it almost kind of messes with your brain.
Yeah. The look, that's a very strong Stanley Kubrick vibes, like the long carpets and hallways and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, The Substance, a lot of strong movie references in The Substance, so like The Fly and things
There's
like
tropes
that.
and stuff that you pick up on in your brain will make you like it.
Yes, like the person who made it, this French lady, has great film taste for sure. Coralie Fargier, I believe her name is. But The Brutalist is more of like, this is a film. This is this is kind of a big piece of art. I'm sitting down to watch a quote important movie, not to put importance on it, but it just it feels like that.
I think you did a good job explaining the
difference. Yeah, The Substance is like a genre film, and the other one is a.
I kind of want to see The Brutalist now just to see what the set design.
The sets are beautiful. It's such a beautiful film. There's a train. There's a one-shot train sequence in the middle of the movie, towards the middle, that I've never seen a movie do it this way, and it's so just beautiful. And it's also shot on what they call, I'll throw this out there, Brutalist is shot on VistaVision, which is essentially the original precursor to IMAX. So it's like high-definition film from the 50s. And the story is set in the 40s and 50s.
So it gives it that.
It gives it that patina. It's that warm grain.
So it's like almost like when Jack White says, hey, this album is influenced by the 60s, so all of the amps and guitars I use were all from the 60s.
Yes.
To give it that authentic flavor.
I love when like Adrian Young does that. He only uses like analog equipment to make music, and it sounds like it's from the 70s.
You're kind of selling The Brutalist to me, to tell you the truth.
It's a fantastic film.
But long.
It is long. Just be prepared for long. It does have an intermission, which is great.
I'll run it on 3 times the speed.
Good to go. In the theater, worked out great for me. I went to the bathroom. I went out with my Benjamin out there. I went to the bar, got a drink.
Go
the second half,
a little bit.
I was flying high for the second half. It was great.
More Miller Lights.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. So I got to ask you a question, Chris. So with Wicked is the last movie we didn't mention.
Okay.
Obviously, we've all seen it.
What's your nickname for Wicked?
Wizard of Oz prequel.
I was going to say Ebony and Ivory Witches. I was going to say Ebony and Ivory Witches.
But the fact that it's up for Best Picture and it's only the part 1 of the movie tells me, like, how could it win Best Picture if it's only half of technically the whole movie?
Correct.
Right? Has there ever been a Best Picture that's only been a part 1?
If it's known that a part 2 is coming, no, that has not happened. Godfather and Godfather Part 2 both won Best Pictures,
sequels.
but when The Godfather came out, no one knew Part 2 was coming, and when Part 2 won, it was the first sequel to ever win an Oscar Best Picture anyway. So yes, like Dune Part 1 came out, right, and it didn't work out for Dune. Dune Part 1 came out and it won a bunch of awards, but none of the big ones. And people thought, yeah, sure, they'll wait for Part 2 to come out, which came out last year. It was great. People liked it, but for whatever reason, everyone forgot about it when it came to nominations, so it hasn't really been nominated for a bunch of stuff. So could that happen for Wicked Part 2? Sure. They're probably waiting for the second part. Maybe it'll get nominated next year. Maybe it won't, and it'll just lose out on everything. But I think the odds of it winning for a Part 1 are slim to none. And that's nothing to do with the quality of the film and everything to do with, just like you said, there's a Part 2 it's coming in November.
Because the story...
It's half a story.
Yeah, is already, obviously, the play that is adapted into a movie. So it's,
and the book. There's also the book.
So it's not... Part 2 is not the sequel to Wicked. It's the...
It's the second half of it.
Yes. It's like Brutalist if there's Part 1 and Part 2 after the intermission.
Right. If they release the second half like a year from now,
But more brutal.
I do feel like a lot of people are looking at Wicked and thinking that it should win some awards. But best
some
musical,
for sure. Production design, maybe. Costume, maybe for acting for Grande or Erivo.
To act and sing is hard.
Most wrecked homes by a co-star.
Oh
who,
yeah,
tore a woman's world apart.
Yes,
with a new baby.
But before we leave. Let's plug Who's the Baddie podcast.
Yes.
I love this podcast.
Daniel's episode's coming out on Wednesday.
On Wednesday. Daniel Dennis is on this week's episode of Who's the Baddie, and we're talking about the movie Coco, which is available on Disney Plus if people want to watch it ahead of time.
You know I love the movie Coco.
And you know what he hates. Spoiler alert.
You guys know what I hate.
Disregard for musical instruments.
Yeah, it's a good-ass movie. And,
it's a great movie.
Revisiting it, I actually was so glad. You know what? That's why I liked that podcast. That podcast forces me to revisit movies. Mm-hmm. I am a movie person. It's just notice my anxiety can't. It fights me from sitting still.
Yeah.
But once I got into Coco, I was like, oh, this is so good. What a great
It's
story.
like a nice warm blanket to
and
to
I
watch
found
that
a lot
movie.
of stuff in there I hadn't seen before. So yeah, go download that and like and subscribe to their podcast, guys.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Help out your local movie podcast.
Yeah, it's everywhere podcasts are found.
Spotify, Apple,
And of
it's out there.
course, Cinema Crespediso, Chris Crespo's podcast,
sir.
if you want to hear all about movies.
Yeah, this month on Crespediso, patreon.com/Crespediso, it is back the Bluuary. We're putting out episodes on Dirty Harry, Bad Lieutenant.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we're doing cop movies this month. So,
Dude, my
so
dad
check it
loves
out.
some cop movies. Hell yeah.
These are the good ones, too.
Yeah. Ultra violence.
Ultra violent.
Big guns.
Harvey Keitel naked yelling at nuns. It's
Oh,
great.
yeah, man.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Corporate Time. Welcome to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We are live on Twitch and YouTube right now. We'd love for you to join us at Tom and Dan Live on both.
So, Daniel, you know how I like epic adventures.
You do.
Especially when they involve, like, a feat.
Yes. You do love a feat of strength.
Of strength and endurance.
Feats of strength.
And our next guest actually did what I love so much.
Okay.
It's like he skateboarded from Venice Beach.
You never
to
talk about skateboarding.
Virginia Beach.
Oh, feats of strength.
Yeah,
Yeah,
feats
gotcha,
of strength.
gotcha.
Set a Guinness Book of World Record for, I guess, longest skateboarding distance in the United States.
That's a
We'll
very-
ask him.
yeah.
Wrote a book about it called Pushing Through America, which is available at chadcaruso.com. There's a documentary on this summer coming out.
Yes.
And with us in studio, Chad Caruso. How you doing, Chad?
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Hey,
Good,
thanks for
good.
being here, man. Appreciate the time.
Also, Tony Moonjet's with us as well.
I didn't break any records.
I know that.
You know, you break records in my heart, baby. You break records in my heart. I love you.
So, Chad, let's talk about it. How did this whole thing start? When did you come up with the idea, hey, I'm going to skateboard across America, Venice to Virginia Beach?
Yeah, so I think about maybe 2 years ago or so, I had the idea I was going to skate across Italy with my cousin.
Okay.
Much shorter, way thinner, you know?
Tiny boot.
A day or two, you know?
Okay.
It's like Florida, basically.
Yeah. Hey, I'm in
It's the
Rome.
Florida of Europe.
Hey, look at me.
Yeah. And then, COVID happened, so no flying really, and kind of just put it on the back burner.
Okay.
And then it just festered in my mind, and I just kept thinking about it. Started looking up if it's been done across the U.S. and saw, like, no one really did it cleanly for Guinness. And then I just became obsessed.
So, did you already have a propensity to, like, just be able to skate long distances? Because that's a skill on its own. Most people aren't in it, like, you skate up to a particular ramp or whatever, but traveling through via skateboard.
The idea of
maybe a longboard, but
the idea of a person using a skateboard as like a mode of transportation to me has kind of been like, especially around Florida, has not been really a thing because we have like really crappy roads for the most part.
Yeah.
And
Too many cracks
Too many
in the
cracks in the sidewalk. We have,
Nothing
like,
smooth.
Oak trees are ripping our
Sand.
sidewalks apart. So like
Too many crackheads.
Yeah, and too many crackheads. Exactly. Your conservatism is showing. No, but it's like like you don't see it. So you see people doing tricks. You see people skate in the parks, but you don't see people like in the movies. There was always the trope of the guy that would like put his helmet on, grab his board. I'm off to work, and I'm like, that's not a thing.
It's like,
you know,
like an 80s thing where
Yeah.
you like grabbed your skateboard and you went. But so did you tell yourself like, man, I can go distances? Like I'm just good at
that
it?
is a skill.
I had no idea. Before this trip, I never pushed a couple of miles.
Oh, okay.
No
So,
idea.
all right,
I was only doing tricks for like 20 years or so. So maybe I had, a little bit of strength.
But you
built
are a
in.
skater, right?
Yeah, I've been
Okay.
doing that for a while.
Okay, so it's not like
Yeah.
you were like, hey, it's a
No.
skateboard thing. Hey, I'm going to give it a shot. Hey, it's still guy. You know?
And I'm from New York, so kind of weaving in traffic and stuff.
No one never guessed. I'm joking. So you came up with this idea, like, and why Venice to Virginia Beach?
The alliteration is good.
The alliteration is good, and
Double
VB to
V's.
VB.
Yeah, there you go. I love it.
and this is how stupid I am and know so little
Tell us
about
more
America.
about how stupid you are.
Well, is it on the level as far like I think in my mind I'm like Venice is like South California, Virginia Beach, but seems a little more north. Why those two locations?
Yeah, in theory, it's like one of the worst ways you can go.
Oh God,
yeah, like, I
the
wouldn't
worst way.
recommend
Like no
it.
one's ever done it.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it, but I wanted to start at the iconic Venice Beach skate park.
Yeah.
And Virginia Beach is actually a pretty iconic skateboarding town. and I was partnered with this company, Jackalope Fest. So that's where the festival was. So just kind of merged it together.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Had to
I
do
may
it.
not have...
Had to do it. It's
yeah.
like, hey, you're going to have to drive your skateboard right into our company meeting. At the end, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So
I got it.
with these kind of feats, and of course with Guinness involved,
That's huge.
there's an element of they won't give you the record unless it's documented, and like there's a lot of stipulations to be in the Guinness book or for them to give you the record. So how did that whole aspect? Did you have to have someone document this, or you have to document it yourself? Like, how'd they make sure you didn't cheat?
You have to hire a Guinness person to come, and they have to fly in, right?
Well, normally, but I don't think they could have someone take 2-month trip across the U.S.
You'd have to pay them a lot. Even to get them in for an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I would
thousands.
like that. That's a hell of a job. They're like,
Right.
"What's your next assignment?" I'm going out with a skateboarder for 2 months, and I got to make sure he gets.
The Guinness guy is like taking number 2s in the woods every other day
Yeah.
for 2 months.
No, so I took I was very diligent. I had to wear a GPS watch and mark every time I stopped and began. It was a lot to keep track of.
You couldn't do this.
No,
No, you could
well,
do
first
it.
I
You
cheat
could do it.
easily.
No, you
I'd
could do
easily
it.
cheat.
You couldn't do the start and stop on the watch. Like you'd be able to
I'd forget.
He could do the.
I
he
do
could
that
live
running
up.
all the time.
He could go around the world.
This is the perfect Tom Van challenge. Like going from 0 to 1,000%.
to hero.
Like
0 to hero challenge.
Never skated a mile. I'm gonna go across the country.
So, okay, let's get into the planning aspect of, did you plan to stop at skate parks to promote yourself along the way? The roads you had to take, you can't be on major highways.
I would stop at strip clubs.
Well, so that's the thing with like planning trips like this. If you're on foot, like people have done it running.
But you're an
before.
overthinker,
Yeah.
too.
They call it the
Sometimes,
gump
at some
and some-
point, you got to just grab your board and hit it.
Yeah, but like the quickest, most efficient roadways in the United States are highways that you can't just be skateboarding on the side of the road.
I see people doing it,
because
though.
you'll be killed by some
Yeah.
guy looking at his phone.
There's always that homeless person in a hospital gown walking on the interstate. In a hospital gown. It's like I can see your ass. And the 18-wheeler goes like, yeah. And you see the gown flapping.
So how'd you even go about planning the roads you would take?
It took a long time. I basically walked through on Google Maps I looked at each street and kind of saw if it was a dead end, a dirt road, something like that.
Oh, the whole way?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
on
trying.
Street
'cause
View?
it's-
Did you use
it's-
Street View?
Yeah.
Do you see
Street
that guy
View.
with a sock on his pecker on Street View?
Come on.
It's all over the internet.
Yeah.
And
That
then,
guy's a deviant.
and so, of course, you're on a skate. What kind of skateboard?
So I did it on basically a regular skateboard. I just did a little bit bigger wheels.
Okay.
So if I did a longboard lower to the ground, it probably would have been much easier.
I hope they were
Bigger wheels,
full-on Pirelli tire.
But,
rims.
yeah. I wanted to keep it. I've been skateboarding my whole life, so I wanted to keep it as a skateboard.
But so this is why what I mean when I say this is a Tom Van challenge, because you would think, right, that for something this big, you would be very prepared. You're trying to get the best board you can get.
Yeah, I imagine like a long board, or
Chat, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
This is an old board that you had in your trunk or something like that?
Yeah, it was sitting in there for a couple of years.
I like that.
Spray painted it black and
and
hit it.
It was it was an old school like fishtail, right?
yeah, kind of like an egg shape.
Okay. Yeah. So it
Like
wasn't
me. It's like he was standing on me.
So you start off Venice Beach. Did you have a bunch of people see you off? I mean,
I don't want that. I don't want any problems.
Did you contact
in
a
case
bunch-
I decide to bail? I don't want anyone cheering
Yeah.
me on, because then those people are going to hate me forever.
So let's talk about the start of it. And when did this whole adventure start? by
Yeah,
the
it
way?
started in 2 years ago.
Okay.
March, I believe 21st was when I started. And that company, Jackalope, met up, and they gathered some people at the start. But I initially just went out there, thinking, I'm just going by myself, I'm just starting by the ocean, and, I'll be there alone. Luckily, some people showed up and kind of made it a thing. But yeah.
That it's funny that you weren't going to make this grand adventure Guinness Book of World Record attempt. Even you're just like, I'll just start by myself. I won't even call my family.
Well, no, you got to call your family in case you die. That's what you do when you go to a state park. I'm going hiking.
Like maybe the news, the news will cover anything. By
Yeah,
the way,
they
they
will.
are desperate.
Nothing is going on.
You can get them to get out there. The news reporters we're with Chad. He's about to go across America. You're just gonna go start by yourself.
The thing that we've forgot to mention is that Chad has a YouTube channel, so he was doing daily vlogs.
Okay.
So at least there's like, if nobody was at the skate park at the beginning, you would have had that blog.
Right. It built as I was going and
Right.
getting some promotion.
Like, how did you find time to edit your videos, or did you have an editor or somebody helping you, or were you just
No.
like you'd hit the hotel and then edit all night and then?
He's doing it right now.
I did daily vlogged every single day, and the whole trip was done completely solo. So I'd push like 10, 12 hours a day, find my hotel, and then edit 3-4 hours, upload it, every day for 57 days.
So
Holy smokes!
So let's talk about the roads. So you get on your skateboard, you kick out of Venice Beach, right?
Yep.
And there's always these
iPod on?
The-
you listen?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Okay, so from talking to like endurance runners that set off on doing like 100 miles or whatever, the beginning is always the worst because psychologically it F's with you because there's such a tremendous amount to go.
The task at hand.
Like all of a sudden you like the first couple days, like and you're working your ass off, and then all of a sudden it like a depression sets in that you're like, oh my God, like it's only been 5 days, and 5 days straight skateboarding is already the most I've ever done, and I've got 2 months to go
There's
straight
50
of this.
more days of this.
So how, did that set in for you?
Oh, yeah, that's a great description of it.
Okay.
After everyone, the big party,
Hold on,
everyone says
Tom
goodbye.
I'm obligated to put Tom's face back on when you give him a compliment.
Yeah,
Hold on,
yeah.
let me see if I can go there. All right, look at the camera. All right, there we go. All right, now. Okay,
Yeah. By the way,
that was an excellent description, Tom.
yeah.
even before I said it, knew it was going to be great.
Yeah, you've made descriptions great again, Tom. I appreciate that.
I could be president one day.
Yeah, you could.
Now more than ever. Anyway, so go back. The first couple days, almost a depression sets in about the amount of time left. Right?
Not even like a couple hours, like an hour.
No, an
Oh,
hour
my
into
God,
it.
you're weak like me. You're weak like me. Oh, my God, like 25 minutes in, I'm like texting my wife. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
What were you thinking?
I started, everyone's there, it's this big party, celebration, launch you off. I've been building up to it for months.
Yeah.
And then you push away a couple miles, they skated with me, and then they slowly drifted away, each person.
Yeah, they're like, I'm going back to work.
And then
This is stupid.
and then it's just quiet, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to be doing this for like 2 months straight, just
Yeah.
alone. It like sank in that moment. Like, oh, this is not just an idea anymore. I'm doing this.
So let's talk about, obviously this is all in the book, Pushing Through America, Chad Caruso. Also, he's doing an event at CFL Skate Park, a BDM-owned skate park.
Yeah, man.
On Wednesday. When's the event, Chad?
This Wednesday, 7 p.m.
Wednesday at 7, so you can go out to the skate park.
Yep. Go
And,
support your local skate park, man. Help these guys out.
Yeah, will you have books for sale there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
and,
books.
Oh, that's awesome.
you can get it signed by Chad, I'm sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
say you don't sign things. Say because he's assuming. Like, I want to shut him down. Shut him down at any point you can. Look at him and be like, I don't do that.
So let's talk about the roads. Were there times where it how diligent were you in your mind? Like, let's say you reach an area, a road that is falling into disrepair, and then you're like, well, I'm gonna have to pick up my board and just walk.
I do a lot of
100
walking.
yards.
I'd be walking a lot.
Yeah, like what are the rules? Or do you have to I literally have to skate around this obstacle somehow?
I
just
got to
so I can
ollie
be
it. I got to ollie over every route.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were the rules that Guinness set? Because I'm sure they told you, you can't travel.
I hope it was like if you take 1 foot off that board. I mean 1 toe off that board.
No,
you're out.
that was the rule. You
Oh,
got to
really?
push every single inch across the country. So I would, if I hit a dirt road, I would turn around and go 10 miles back out of the way and find another way around it.
No, really?
Yeah.
10 miles? No.
Or I'm pushing up.
I kill myself. I kill myself.
If I'm pushing up a giant hill, I would, come to a dead stop and then start again. I wouldn't walk up the hill or
Oh,
anything.
no.
You didn't look around and you're like, well, no one's going to know.
There's nobody here. The GPS is still the GPS.
I also wanted to do it for myself. When I finished, I
I
didn't
don't
want
love
to
myself that
think,
much.
I didn't really.
I don't care about my own opinion enough. You should really do this for yourself. No, I shouldn't. What are you talking about?
I love lying to myself. I love lying to myself more than
Yeah,
anybody
and you know
else.
what matters more to me than anything that matters? You know what matters more to me than my own personal opinion of myself? Everyone else's opinion of me.
So, did you have how much equipment did you have with you? Did you have a giant backpack filled with stuff in case you had to camp? Talk
Comic
about
books.
Let's talk about what you brought with you.
It's called like a little bivvy. It's basically this little unfoldable, very thin sleeping bag if I needed it.
Okay.
But basically my goal was to make it to a hotel every day.
Okay.
And I had just the Camelback, one outfit to change into that I swapped out every day.
Stinky.
Deodorant, toothbrush,
yeah.
just like the bare minimum, skate tool, extra bearings.
Yeah.
Now, because
Wheels? You have to carry any wheels?
I did. I didn't change them, but I brought them. So
Yeah.
just extra weight for
Gotcha.
no
It's
reason.
just like underwear. Don't bring them.
I
Don't
bet you're
jam.
mad at that.
Yeah. But I tried to keep it as light as possible because I knew it would wear on my back.
This is awesome.
Every day, yeah.
So now I'm
This
curious.
is super awesome.
When we've talked to people that have done grand adventures before, like paddleboarding down the Mississippi,
That wasn't a great adventure.
come on,
He got
sounds
bat,
awesome.
No,
Yeah.
he got bat poop
Matt
poisoning.
Crofton.
And then
that's right.
it changed him for the rest of his life. He'll never be the same.
But and then
he'll never be the same.
The
again.
guy that kayaked down the intercoastal
He almost
from
died.
New York.
That's the same guy, isn't it?
And the runner, the motorcycle, and
Yeah.
and
then we got a Huracan guy.
all these
Gumball 5000.
Yeah, with all these different adventures, and of course now with social media, they're blogging about it, and it tends to build steam. And then next thing you know, you're showing up in towns, and your followers know you're there, and they start offering like, "Hey, you need a place to stay. You need people are super
You want to
generous."
bang my wife?
So, did you end up staying at people's houses because they offered? Because I'm sure a hotel every night for 2 months. I mean, that would
It's called the road, Tom. You wouldn't know anything about it. It's called the road.
I mean, it would cost you thousands and thousands
Yeah.
of dollars, right?
Yeah, I kind of incorporated it into the cost of doing the whole thing because I knew daily vlogging, I couldn't, they're going to want to talk, hang out, have dinner, and I had to be super focused, editing and getting the
You couldn't
video
waste
up.
any time.
I couldn't, no.
Okay.
I wanted to, I would have, I've
I
done
don't
it
have
on this
time
trip,
for your beef
but-
stroganoff, you old granny. I got to edit this video for the teens.
Yeah.
You're right. They want to celebrate with you, drink, and then
Yeah.
you're like, you can't be
can't
hungover.
drink.
Like, how
I
many?
can't drink. I'm an
Also,
athlete.
you kind of just want to decompress after that long day, too, by yourself, maybe some ice.
I just want to smoke weed and masturbate alone. I got to leave me alone.
What was your goal per day, mileage wise?
I wanted to hit 50 every single day. That was my
50
goal.
miles.
50
a
miles
day.
every day.
How long is 50 miles on a skateboard? Around
Depends on the hills and the ground, but probably minimum 8 hours every day.
Was there
12 was the most.
God, man.
Yeah.
What about through?
Would you switch your leg? Or
yeah,
are you goofy
That's
or
something
regular?
that I found
Yep.
super interesting.
I don't know how you
because
do that. I can't do the
You
other
taught
way.
yourself, right? Before you went, you taught yourself how to push with the other leg, which
I
is
noticed
something
you
that
didn't say
I
that.
can't
That was
do.
a great question, but I will put that. I will stand. Hold on. I'm going to put the camera on me. I will stand on that question as being a good question.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then were there any stretches of the trip that were harder? I imagine like the desert part of the United States, like through Death Valley area, Arizona, like North Texas and stuff. There's stretches of nothing. And so how do you navigate that? Like, were there roads where you're like, I have to do, 70 miles just to get from one hotel to the other?
Yeah. I had to do 80 2 times in one day to make it, to a hotel.
And was that through like the desert?
Yeah. So the hardest day for me of the whole trip was going through the Sheephole Valley Wilderness. It's like 120 miles, no hotels. It's basically no cars out there even, So
Where is that in the United States?
You make it through Joshua Tree.
Okay.
Yeah. And past there, you're just going into nothing.
And is it just like, what's the...
One road.
Okay, so like you see in the movies, long
Yeah.
desert road with
Where you
desert
shoot
on
a
both sides.
ZZ Top
Winding
video,
into nothing.
right?
And,
You see mountains in the background, and it's just a mirage of ending it.
Oh, yeah.
And so you're just on
She
the...
got legs.
How many motorists stopped to think that your car broke down, like to help you? Did anybody...
None.
None.
people-
None.
I would
You're on a
stop.
skateboard and you're on the side of
I'm
a
not
desert
gonna-
highway,
yeah.
and no one said like, "Hey, are you okay?"
I'm not going to stop. That guy's good as dead. Or get out of here.
Not in the desert, but other times when I'm crossing bridges, people would call the police and be like, "There's a guy," probably like thinking I'm a homeless guy or just
Tony
escaped out of
Hawk
jail or
wants to
something.
kill
Like some
himself.
guy's crossing the bridge on a skateboard. He's
Yeah.
probably gonna jump off or something. Like, go check
people,
on him.
People do that.
And, and then, did you have any? How many times did the cops come to check on to see what you were doing?
A few times.
Like,
yeah,
are you allowed to even ride a skateboard on the side of a lot of these roads?
yeah. You can't do it on like interstates.
Okay.
So you could do highways and stuff like that, service roads. So
And then you just ride in the shoulder?
Yeah. So a lot of times
That's where all the garbage is, though.
there were times where there were not even a space big enough for a skateboard, and there would be Mack trucks coming 80 miles an hour, like head on. So I would take the lane and play chicken with them, and basically wave them out of the way so I could stand my ground and be like, this is my lane, this is what I gotta do.
Oh my God.
Because I needed the room. You know?
I have too much anxiety for that.
This seems like insanely dangerous
Yeah.
because of like so many people are distracted, look at their phone or whatever, and then they don't see a pedestrian on the side of the road, and then they clip you. I mean, you're done for.
Any close
Yeah.
calls?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. One guy did exactly what you said. He was just, I think, probably texting and veering off onto the shoulder.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to go out of the way, and he's kind of following me, but he caught the wheel and jerked back and just missed me. But that was
That man,
probably
jelly
the
roll.
closest. And then when you have your
Country
headphones
music's jelly
on,
roll.
you know, you're like in the zone, hanging out. You don't really realize, like, you don't have good awareness. And then I would feel like the wind breeze from a truck next to me. I gotta pay attention.
Yeah.
I'm inches from death, certain death.
Yeah, I
by the way.
should probably lower the volume.
So I'm curious to like, how did you get abnormally sore? Like, how'd your body hold up throughout this? Because just like being that much time on a board kicking, it's gotta kill your hips, your back. You know, it's just not a comfortable thing to do. That I'm sure you woke up some mornings and you're like, I can't do it today. And was there any days you just had to rest?
Oh, no rest days.
Okay.
I didn't take one day off.
I like that. That's how I live my life, too. No rest days. I'll rest when I die.
Yeah. No, the pain kind of migrated. One day it'd be my lower back, my neck, as I adjusted. But the thing that was steady the whole time was my Achilles. And
I thought you were going to say your belief in God.
and plantar fasciitis. That just my foot was like black and blue and in pain basically the whole time. And you'd start going maybe 5 miles into the day, it would slowly, your adrenaline would start going and it would dissipate a little. But in the mornings I'd wake up and be like,
What was
walking on eggshells,
Chat room wants to know what's the weirdest thing you saw while on the road.
Weirdest thing. Plenty of people pulled over and they'd like ask me for a ride, but it wasn't like a friendly ride. It was more like sex or drugs kind of a ride. Like, hey, you want to hop
get in my car?
You can feel the vibe.
You want to get in my car and service me with your mouth, skateboarder?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And so, what was your nutrition
Hey,
like?
Bob Burnquist, come suck it.
So, because like 50 miles a day
It's a lot, dude.
That's
an insane amount. That's a lot to run. That's a lot to bike.
Oh well, yeah. I mean,
But on a skateboard, to me, just the vibration.
rattling your fillings out.
In like Texas, the roads were absolutely brutal. Just the stuff called chip seal, really spaced out, just gritty concrete.
Oh, it's the thicker concrete. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Brutal. So I would have to push downhill. Like my momentum wouldn't even take me. I'd have to push. That's how bad the ground was. So
my God.
that would be all 50 miles some days.
Did you
And
ever? You ever have a hill and sit on your board like a little kid and ride it down?
I thought about it.
It's still fun, no matter if you ride or not. It's still a fun thing to do.
How'd you get through the Rockies?
Yeah. So I went south.
Okay.
So, the mountains I hit.
You went
were,
through Texas?
Yeah.
Okay.
Texas. I think the Guadalupe Mountains, and then through Palm Springs. Those were like the two biggest climbs, I think.
And it was just steady pushing that. Like, going back to nutrition, like, did you have, like, the stereotypical runner's endurance nutrition, the little, gels and just to get, your nutrition in? Or,
I put
or
two
were you eating fast food? Or
I used 2 non-hydration tablets in my water, and I can feel the electrolytes in my body.
Yeah. I started out like, I'm an endurance athlete. I'm going to eat healthy this whole time.
You got to get that Mexi Melt on the way home.
Yeah, exactly. A couple of days in, I'm just slamming Big Macs, just like 2 liter. I hadn't eaten fast food for years before that, but you're in the middle of nowhere, and sometimes it's just Super 8 in a
Feels
McDonald's.
naughty,
you're burning a million
5,000 calories.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
you go 50 miles, and it feels naughty to stand there in the drive-thru and eat a Big Mac. That's awesome.
I would actually, it was weird. At the end of the day, I just would crave a 2 liter ice cold soda for some reason. That was like
The real stuff, right? Sugar.
Yeah, the good stuff. Yeah.
Oh my God! It's your body telling you you're about to die.
Yeah, exactly.
Get the greatest thing on the planet.
Exactly.
Well, here's an uncomfortable question. You're in the desert. You slam 2 Big Macs.
Oh, I know what I'm doing.
And then you're off for a 50-mile trek through. There's nothing out there.
Oh yeah.
And then
it's me and the geckos.
And then all of a sudden, those Big Macs are knocking. You know.
Oh, that's not what I was talking about.
So I'm sure you're bringing toilet paper, and then a lot of roadside out in the desert doo-doos.
Oh yeah, I'm not too many. I've got a pretty good stomach, but there was maybe I made a couple weeks in, and I was like, all right, this is the day.
But I would have fun with it. I'd find interesting places.
I'm like waving at the trucks, not a place to hide. I'm just like, all right, this is what it is.
Yeah.
Was there any time along the trip that you got close to quitting, or you said, I'm done with this?
Not really. I mean, there was some brutal days, but having the support of everyone and doing it for a nonprofit. And
you didn't have my support.
Almost
I just want you to know that. I just want you to know that.
Almost everyone.
Yeah.
And, it made it easier to keep going, but there was one day in specific in Texas with the ground I was saying, and just, it was...
Probably
I remember just looking up at the sky. I'm just
like people don't even think about what if you're in a bad mood, or what if something else at home happens, or I don't know, you get some news that's not good. Mm-hmm. How do you? I guess you just kind of try to zone into your.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I'm just like, all right, I don't really have a choice. Like, just gotta make it to the hotel.
Right. What about that last day? Describe the last day and finishing it off. How did that go?
Oh well. Yeah, a lot of emotions, because I was by myself for 2 months, I'm like, oh, this is coming to an end. I'm about to see, hundreds of people and be, completely shift.
And through the 2 months, like you said, you specifically avoided anybody along the way because...
Did you have, a big beard and long hair like Forrest Gump?
I grew up my beard.
Okay, because if you show up clean-shaven like you left, and people are like, not disappointed.
I want you to be a little dirty.
No, I mean, I wasn't a complete recluse, During the trip, people were meeting up with me, bringing me lunch.
Okay.
All sorts of things.
I brought you some fondue.
Yeah.
And I always wonder, when you do something like this, a grand adventure, which I've always wanted to do.
A ton of grand adventures.
No, I'm saying...
He's landing a helicopter in Alaska. He's staying on a volcanic rock in Hawaii with his family. He's doing the Pineapple Man.
That's all tourists. You're paying some tourists.
A cruise on Alaska does not count as an adventure.
Yeah, but he does adventure-y things.
Nah, I'm talking individual.
You don't have time for this. You're going to take 2 months to skateboard across America.
My sons are grown. I may do something even stuff that maybe has been done before. I always looked at that motorcycle trip from the Keys up to Alaska.
It's been done before.
Or the Pan American Road, the longest road. That you're talking about from Alaska down to the tip of South America, and you always think that when you're done with it, you're going to have a new perspective, and you're I'm just curious, when you finish this or when you're close to finish, what'd you reflect on?
I mean, I think the main lesson I learned from the whole thing was not to pay attention to outside noise. You're in the wilderness for just days on end by yourself. And you start to realize all the chatter, people's opinions, all this stuff kind of just disappears. It gets quiet, So kind of helped me with that and just doing what I want to do and staying focused on it.
Sorry, could you say that again? I wasn't listening.
I kind of felt like that.
I'm totally joking because that's a good answer.
I was trying to resist the urge to scroll TikTok. I don't know if you heard it back.
5 second answer is a little too much nowadays.
I was like,
I can't be alone with my own thoughts for more than 5 minutes.
Did you know Jelly Roll ate his own boogers at a UFC fight? He's just sitting back there eating his boogers right behind Kid Rock.
How
crazy? That's right.
How did you entertain yourself throughout that 2 months of just being on the road by yourself? Is it all music? Are you listening to audiobooks? What are you listening to?
No audiobooks. I would do a podcast sometimes here and there. But after a while, it's just how much content can you listen to? 12 hours a day. You're just like, all right, I gotta
we deserve
turn
that.
it off.
Yeah. And then any particular places throughout the country that you stopped and you're like, man, this is a beautiful area that I've never been to. Because a lot of us never like explore the United States that much. We go to some tourist destinations and stuff.
I've been in the studio for the last 20 years.
But we're not like traveling through the United States and say like I feel like social media kind of ruined that a little bit for us because it exposed us to so much that people are like, I've seen it.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't want to go there. You're like, I know what it's about.
Yeah.
But any particular places you like the best?
I mean, I love being in the desert, just out there. Arizona is a beautiful place to visit. I was kind of on this track. I couldn't really go off and visit something. You know what I mean? So I was just so kind of locked in. I didn't really.
So would you say that
stuff.
was a stupid question?
One good, one stupid. That's what I'm good for.
Let me put the camera
You
on.
gotta even it out.
Let me put the camera on him. That's a stupid question.
Salty sweet. It makes you appreciate the good one.
Yeah.
You gotta throw in a bad one. It can't be all be good because then it diminishes the real good one. Anyway, so you got something to tell me?
Oh no! I was gonna actually bring up the point that he's living the life that we've wanted to live. He's a married man. I don't know if you knew this. And he would pick up currently he's daily vlogging. He just got in his car, didn't know where to go. He ended up here in Orlando just because that's where he ended up. He doesn't really know where he's going next.
Oh, that's great.
How did you
How do you
hook
get
up
that
with Tony?
freedom?
I met him through YouTube years ago. Skateboarding, and this is the first time we actually met.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
In person. Yeah.
Because Tony did tell me, he's like, hey,
So this is like Tony meeting a lady of the night, and then we can now let's talk about pricing and the menu at hand.
And again, when you decided to write a book, was that always the plan? So did you take
It's a
down
photo
notes?
book, isn't it?
Yeah, but there's I walk you through the whole trip.
Oh, that's killer.
Yeah, Tony Hawk wrote the foreword.
No way,
Yeah,
man.
it's
That's
cool.
awesome. We met him one time.
Well, hold on. I didn't get to meet him.
That's why I brought it up. I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about me and Monjet.
I gifted
not
my meet and greet to Tony because I'm such a good person. I'm almost. I mean, that's a better.
They
feat
call
than
him Father
skateboarders across
Teresa of
America.
Castleberry.
I mean, Chad, you give away your opportunity to meet Tony Hawk.
Yeah, would you? Would you give away? No, nobody would. I wouldn't.
Only me.
I told him I would.
American hero.
And I get a pass. I was an only child, so the selfishness is baked into me. It can't come out. So
And so, was there any point that you thought you were going to get robbed or roughed up
Yeah.
already? Because people.
It sounds like you had a pretty easy go. I mean, not easy. It's obviously the most difficult thing I would imagine you've ever done. But it didn't sound like humans were messing with you or anything.
Yeah, I think they probably stay away. Meet just a weird guy in all black holding the camera. I don't want to mess with that guy. Right. Leave him alone,
right.
probably.
Yeah,
Yeah,
who
pass
are
him
you?
out. Yeah.
I've seen Skibbity Toilet. You're the bad guys, Mr. Camerahead or whatever. They're.
I'm sure some people would think it's dangerous, but it's kind of no one's messing with you.
Everything
Oh,
is
no, I mean, it definitely could happen, and I made sure to not skate at night. That was a rule I had.
Okay.
Just because, you're more likely to run into something at night.
Yeah, that's when the freaks come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, how did your wife handle this?
I'm glad you came back to this
because
I figured we were going to just power right through it, but we needed to come back because the freedom of your wife allowing you to just go vlog. If I said that to my wife, she'd be like, first of all, she'd be like, what's a vlog? My wife's about 70, 71 years old. I'm old.
My wife gets mad when I go to Lowe's for the second time in the day. She's like, Lowe's again?
Yeah, you're escaping. Yeah.
So I can imagine telling her that I'm going to go find myself on a 2-month skateboard trip across
But don't
America.
worry, I'm doing vlogs.
Vlog about
if
it.
you want to see what I'm doing, watch the vlog.
So she's supportive and is totally cool with it?
Yeah, I mean, she was really nervous. She thought, you could die out there.
Yeah,
I could get hit by a car or something. So
you could die in here.
That's true. Yeah, exactly. That's what I say. You driving the car every day.
Semi truck going 80. You'll have a guy who looks at Pornhub.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
I bet that happens all the time. In fact, right now, as I'm saying this, I bet the number of trucks going down the road with Pornhub running is 62%.
Yeah, for sure.
I would guess.
But besides from her being worried, she wasn't mad that you were leaving her for 2 months to go on a grand adventure?
She knows that's these crazy trips and ideas kind of what keep me sane. So it's kind of a balance.
Is this your job? Are you a full-time vlogger, skateboarding influencer, I guess, for lack of a better term?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I run a food truck in the summer, but
nice.
That's basically
So this is not the first time that you've done something like this, because you did learning 50 tricks on each state of the U.S. and that was in a one
So in 2019, I learned a new trick in every state in America, 50 days in a row, and daily vlogged every single day also.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so you traveled to a different state.
Way better than this skateboard garbage. I'm kidding.
Traveling to each 50 state and learning a trick.
A skateboard trick?
But every day, I mean...
Because I was like, I need to make sure it's not like a card trick.
No.
Or like, it's just a trick. It's a trick.
Well, even just
God,
schedule...
you are a very creative, cool person.
Yeah.
Well,
Thanks.
Very
Appreciate
lucky
that.
to meet you.
Thank
Well, it also helps that he's a really, really good skateboarder. So he's actually...
Well, he's also like super mellow and kind. So
Yeah.
thank you.
that-
We appreciate you being there,
that.
man.
Thank you.
That's really cool. But man, you're weird. That's weird that your wife lets you do that. That's
For
weird.
sure.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
definitely is a little odd. But
Yeah, but cool. Like really, my wife would kill me.
She
if I
actually helped book the hotels a lot of times because I wouldn't have service,
Helped?
or
She
she
helped?
would like be watching me on the GPS. Like, is he lost? Is he?
Hey, let me call him. Hey,
Yeah.
turn around. You're
Yeah.
going the wrong way. That's cool.
With trucks flying by in the background.
the 50 states in 50 days, how'd you manage Hawaii?
Yeah, so I planned before. That was kind of what let me know I could do this trip. I planned a flight to Alaska for day 49 and then to Hawaii for day 50. And once I realized I could do that, I was like, all right, I could do this.
Okay, so you flew from Alaska to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just...
Do you start with them?
No, I did. That was 49.
Those were the-
50.
okay, so those are the final
Yeah,
ones.
and
Did
then I
you-
just chilled in Hawaii after.
How did you determine your order of going?
The flights, basically. Just wanted to make sure I could get those two flights dialed in.
Where'd you start?
Yeah. I started in Maine.
In Maine, and then did you go to the closest states, or does sometimes you hopping back and forth the flights?
No, I drove everything. So some days it would be 3 hours, some days 8 hours, and I just kind of went up and down the country.
And then you
Looped
flew the
and-
last two.
So I planned I would like pin each skate park I kind of wanted to hit, and I had a rough outline of what I wanted to do.
Chat room wants to know, what was Florida's trick?
I can't even remember. Oh,
Sorry.
All right, switch 185.0 to fakie on transition.
wow.
That memory, right?
Yeah, I
You
do.
never forget my children.
I like how, man, you are a weirdo. You fit in here. Yeah, this
Whoa.
guy's cool.
What if just like Squid Game? I don't know. No spoiler alert.
That's
but-
crazy that you did that.
Like,
Was
there's
that
not
your
enough
second
time.
trip?
Like
Yeah.
you have to make a flight to Mississippi.
No, he's gonna do it.
And then you're like trying to learn the trick, and you're like, you gotta be on the plane leaves in 2 hours.
What was
Like,
your hardest trick?
Day 50. I
50.
saved it for Hawaii to like
Gotcha.
end the big finale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in that case, like you can try to learn something easier. You know what I mean? Right? If you're
Yeah.
running out of time, try something easier. He was trying a lot of hard
Okay,
stuff.
the tricks weren't set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Same thing with all my challenges. I'm not trying to take any shortcuts or just do it for the. I want to
It's
push
for you. Yeah,
I want to
yeah.
push myself. So every day I'm trying to do something at the best of my ability. I'm not just trying to learn anything.
Now, does wife accompany you for the last two tricks because it's such weird places? Or is she like, nah, I'm good. I'll see you when you get back from Hawaii?
We weren't together yet.
Oh, why, my God.
Yeah.
Is that what sealed the deal? Was she
No,
like,
I
this
was-
guy's
I
a
had a-
lunatic?
I had an old girlfriend, and that sealed the deal.
Yeah, all right. yeah. She's like, this guy's nuts. I'm out of here. All right, yeah.
Yeah.
Best
So-
thing that ever happened to you. I love it.
Yep.
So again,
fantastic, man.
You can meet Chad at the CFL skate park this Wednesday at 7:00. Pushing Through America is the book.
That's
you get
killer.
at chadcaruso.com. There's a documentary coming out this summer about it. Last
I hope
question,
you'll come
Chad.
back in the summer if you're around or call in at least.
Definitely down.
I'm sure you had a lot of time, especially at the once you got to Georgia or whatever. You're like, I'm gonna do this. There's nothing, like I'm sure there's a state you're like, I'm gonna finish, no problem. And then you start thinking about what's my next adventure.
Yeah.
Do you have one in mind?
I got a couple ideas, but I just try to suppress them as fast as possible until they just inevitably come out. I've been kicking around Australia as an idea, but nothing set in stone
Pun intended,
yet.
too. Kicking
Yeah,
around. That's what it's called, kicking around.
Yeah,
Australia.
I'm really just focused on the book tour and the documentary because that in itself is a huge.
I mean, he's kind of on one right now. I mean, you're daily vlogging right now.
Yeah.
You just come up with some sort of skateboard boat that you kick, and then a little paddle.
Skateboat. It's a skateboat.
And then you skateboat to Australia.
Yeah.
You'll
Oh,
definitely
my God.
die.
Yeah, you'll definitely die.
There's no way.
How are you with dying?
I mean, because it is limitless. I mean, there's so many other.
You only said that because we talked about that movie earlier today.
But there's so many adventures that other like. There's a couple in Europe.
Do they
and
always have
Pan American
skateboard adventures, though, right?
Yeah, probably. I
you
mean, for
wake
now,
skate?
we'll see how long my body holds up.
Could you wake skate and would that count? Like if you go to a place where there's a good lake, have somebody
100%.
hire somebody on the boat. And
No
just wake
bindings.
skate through?
No bindings, and you got to have shoes on.
Yeah. Like the wake skate.
You wake skate across the Atlantic from New York to England.
I like this. Behind Conor McGregor's green Lamborghini boat.
I think you'll definitely die.
That would be awesome, though. I mean, that'd be a really good one.
Well, Chad, thanks so much for coming in.
Oh, thanks for having me
nice
out.
to
It was
meet
really
you.
fun. Yeah.
Thanks for
Good
being
talking
here,
to you guys.
dude. And make sure you go out and support, our local skate, little skate parks, skate shops, whatever we have around here, because they need the help. They're as small businesses get. So going out there and supporting them is a big deal.
Also, I know I've said this before, but I really do respect and appreciate the discipline of skateboarding. And I wish my son, like, if my son's got it, in the 90s and the 80s.
Doing it with breakdancing. I mean, it's hard. You gotta try your tricks, and then you gotta keep trying them until you get them.
It's so short-sighted for parents in the 80s and 90s to be like, oh, my son, like, freaking out because their son got into skateboarding, and they're like, oh, he's wasting his life in skateboarding. Like, what the hell, wasting his life? This is one of the most disciplined sports of people that really get into it, trying a trick over and over 10,000 times. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's more discipline in skateboarding than baseball. I mean, obviously, you're
gonna get some emails about that. I get what you're saying.
Well,
I like what you're saying.
I'm talking of like little league. You put you show me a passionate skateboarding kid and then a passionate baseball playing.
It can
kid.
be just as valuable as any other sport.
But I'm leaning towards the skateboarding kid having more mental toughness and discipline because it's so individual and the practice. Like I know there's hitting and pitching and okay, well, I'm going to shut up now. Skateboarding, more discipline.
Hold on a second.
I talked myself out of it.
I think he started arguing with himself because I said you're going to get some emails about it. I planted one time he seen it down, then the computer started arguing with it. So I was like, shut down.
You gave ChatGPT another prompt in the middle of his goddamn essay.
That's never happened before. You were here. We've been waiting for that for 30 years.
That's awesome.
We hit singularity and the computer shut down.
More discipline than soccer.
I get what you're saying.
Went to American baseball. MLK inauguration day. Soccer, more discipline than kicking a stupid ball around. All right.
Yeah, I like that. Thanks for being here, Tony. Thanks for being here, buddy. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Monjetphoto.com.
Yeah, I will be daily vlogging. I'm going to fart on each one of my rooms in the house and drink a lot of Guinness.
Okay.
I'll be tuning in.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we will be tuning in for that.
Farting Guinness. All right, we will be right back. Welcome to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We are live on YouTube and Twitch. Just search for @Tom and Dan Live. Tons of shows on there. We broadcast every Monday through Friday for about 3 to 4 hours. And if you would like to join us in the chat room, we would certainly love to have you.
And Science on Tap is this Saturday, January 25th, osc.org. It's their beer fest. It's right there in Lock Haven Park. They do a really nice job.
It's a beautiful beer fest. Beautiful area of town, a big green park.
And the weather's clearing, so all this rain will pull through, and I'll have a nice day on Saturday.
Yep.
And if you want to go by and hang out with us, me and Daniel are going to be there. Just go to osc.org and get your tickets.
Yeah, and all of the proceeds go to help out our beloved Orlando Science Center.
So I thought we'd do a little weird hobby Wednesday.
All right, let me see if I have the song, and I do.
If you got a hobby and you're feeling kind of flabby, that's lost. What's your hobby? Weird hobbies!
And to present their weird hobby today, we've got our good friend Eric Pabone. How you doing, Pabone?
Hey, I really missed you guys, man.
Oh, we missed you too, man. Sorry, the blasts are working this year.
So, of course, Eric Pabone's been working with us for years, doing lots of different art for us, continuing to do different projects we're working on this year. And plug your website real quick, Eric.
My website is defunct, Tom, because
Oh.
I stopped paying for the domain.
Oh man, oh God.
There's nothing more punk rock than stopping to pay for your domain name. I love that. I'm not letting big domain get my money.
I probably should have checked with you before.
Yeah, great job.
Well, let's plug your band because that's why
I'm
you're
not
here
in the band
today.
anymore. I'm not
No,
in
well,
the
that's
band
his weird
anymore.
hobby.
No, got a whole different. You know nothing about me.
He's in a punk rock band. He's in a dad punk rock band. So let's plug the band.
Sure. I'm in a band called TV Generation.
All right.
And they've been around for a while. I've been in the band for about a year and a half as the lead singer and rhythm guitar player.
Okay.
So are you kind of like the newer?
I'm the new guy.
Yeah, gotcha.
I'm the new guy. When I love going to see live music. And for years, I came up playing punk rock. I mean, from the time I was 15 years old, I was in bands. It's how I met my wife. Like, it's been such a huge part of my life forever. You go to these shows not playing music and watching bands you love on stage, and as fun as that is, there's always this feeling like, man, I missed that. Like, I wish I was still doing that. And so, it felt like easier to find a band that was already a thing, that already had songs that I could just kind of plug myself in and not start from scratch.
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get off of this podcast and get my way back into radio.
Yeah.
I have found there are a few morning shows that I've been shopping my talents out to, namely one called The Moon Stairs.
You start as an intern
I started as an
again.
intern, work my way through the radio and see how I can do in this world of broadcasting.
So let's talk about first finding a band that has an opening that you could fit yourself into.
Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm not going to be uncomfortable doing that, and that's where you're wrong. I get a weird amount of probably the same amount of uncomfortability that you get, of the idea of putting out, like, whether it's a flyer with those little pull tabs for my number, whether it's like posting on a web board, whether it's like going to like Central Florida, punk rock band, Central Florida musicians and putting out a post. That gives me the willies for some reason.
Yeah. It's like dating.
Perfect. Perfectly said.
And when you get to a certain age, I'm going to be 40 in March. It's different. Like, not every band fits somebody that age. I have 3 kids, young college kids that post stuff online. A lot of it is like, we want to play like My Chemical Romance covers and we practice 6 times a week. And it's like, well, that doesn't mesh well with a 40-year-old father of 3.
Yeah, you got to find a band is like a small business, and you got to make sure everybody's schedules meet up. Now, like, let's just talk about the concept of playing in a band for a hobby, because I feel like a lot of musicians never end up doing this, even though they, like, a lot of my friends were in punk rock bands growing up, and they loved performing, and at the time they wanted to do that for a living, obviously. And most of the time, 99% of it never pans out. You can't do it for a living, and then you move on and you get a job and you get a family, and you never go back to performing. Even though you still know how to, like, you performed all the time.
I've kind of done a little bit of that, in that, like, moving up until I got into radio, I played in tons of bands, and I was playing every weekend, and I was practicing at least 3 times a week, and I couldn't tell you the last time I sat behind a drum kit. You know what I mean? Like, it is weird to still have the skill and not use it.
Well, it's important.
My old guitar player hasn't picked up his guitar in 20 years, and it hurts my heart. It hurts my heart to hear that, because he was a monster, just a straight monster.
So my question is, why don't more people get together and start playing live music together, and even doing it for free, or for, maybe just, a tab at the bar or wherever you're performing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
And then offer, like, hey, we just do it for the love of doing it as a hobby. We have no plans of turning this into a business.
Well, you don't know this, but yesterday we had in some of the fellows from Tactical Brewery right down the street. We had Chris in. He's in a band. He told me that. I was texting back and forth. He's like, hey, are you coming to see me play at Sideward? A friendly, another brewery that they're friends with. And I'm like, you're in a band? Yeah. He's like, he's in a band. Like, so he does it for a hobby, for his own, like, brain, for his own enjoyment, for fun. I think it is a rarer thing now. I do.
It is, because one, it's really hard to make a band work. You're talking about multiple people being on the same schedule, wanting to play the same kind of music. Just the friction there, it is like a small business. And then it's also, to what level are you willing to put into it? So, there are people that want to tour 10, 11 months out of the year. I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
We're kind of weekend warriors in that, like, we'll jump on shows with bigger national touring bands and open up for people that we really like, just because it fits with where we are in our lives. And the money that comes in, we just use that for whatever, expenses or gas or merchandise but it's not overtaking our day jobs in the way that, like, when you're a kid and you want to get in a van and tour and, like, I want to do this for a living. There are plenty of bands I know that still do that. It's just really, really, really hard.
Is it something like, remember the old Seinfeld episode where you...
I'm not familiar with...
Never seen it.
Where Jerry and Elaine started hooking up as friends, and they're like, "Oh, wait, why don't we just bang every once in a while?"
I remember this episode.
Why can't we just be friends
and then
do that?
Episode, right?
I'm referencing 1997.
Yeah, but like I think it was like the first season.
Maybe 94.
They kind of did away with that arc a little bit, to make it goofy.
Yeah. But the point being, maybe like you start a band with some friends, and then you start off like, let's just do this for fun, right? And then you practice, and then,
like our podcast.
Obviously, you practice to be good, and so as you practice more and more, the better you get, and then maybe it starts to get into and then you get maybe your first paid gig, and then you're like, wait a minute. We've got something here, And
that's what happened to us.
And then it's like, and then you're like, well, and then you start getting more and more ambitious about it because it starts calling you. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can't have
like the telltale heart.
Yeah. So it's like you can't bang your friend and leave emotions at the door because
it's haunting you.
Because every time you perform, you start to get into your head that maybe this could be something. Like we're good, and then the dream, and then that you don't want to experience that crushing defeat when it doesn't end up being.
And then Elaine eats a bird to save her daughter from being murdered by Death, who is the embodiment of the parrot.
Because, Pabon, if your band starts getting like bigger gigs and starts drawing bigger crowds,
talk about some of the give some of your accomplishments. Because didn't you just open for like a legendary older gentleman? Punker.
We opened for Fear.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with Fear, they were one of the first bands to get banned from Saturday Night Live in the 80s, and that was a huge deal for me, man. I grew up listening to this stuff, so I think your expectations are a big part of it. Like, I went through a lot of that stuff you're talking about when I was really young, like having a manager and trying to tour and trying to do it for a living and becoming disillusioned with the music industry and all of that stuff. So I have some perspective to say what I really like about it is just getting on stage and playing and the community and the scene. And I'm not, it's not that thing you do. It's not like this light at the end of the tunnel where like one day we're going to get discovered and make it. Like that's not...
Yeah, but what if you did, Eric? That's what I'm saying. Like, what if all of a sudden you're like, man, there's a lot of people showing up for these gigs, like, and then all of a sudden, like, you get a hit on TikTok, and Trump brought that back, by the way.
Did you hear about that? He brought it back. He brought it back. Can you believe that?
Yeah. Gulf of America. So anyway, the
Gulf of America.
All of a sudden, the shows start getting bigger, and then you get a hit on TikTok, and then you start looking at it, and then you start getting like bigger and bigger offers, and you're like, wait a minute, I can make a run at this. And then you quit your job, and then you're back to being a rock star, which is your original plan.
Yeah, would you do that?
No, because like I said, the perspective, like I'm friends with plenty of people who still tour as a means to support themselves, and it's not a glamorous life, man, and I'm not in a stage in my life where I could do that. And you just have to do what works for you. And I get out of it exactly what I need.
But what if?
I think that's the beauty in what he's got. There's no what if.
Right.
Like you know exactly where you want to go with it. So he's not even like you may not even see the what if. Because you're not even. That's not what you're doing it for.
I'll give you an example. For me, a lot of it is I don't like to leave things uncrossed off my list, man, because I don't want to get to the end of my life and be like, oh, man, I should have done that again, or I really wanted to and I didn't.
Every list I make, everything uncrossed.
Open list.
Open list. Yeah. That's a better way to live, maybe. Yeah. But like, all right, an example is I've always wanted to make a movie. I don't know anything about filmmaking, cinematography, nothing.
Gonzo, go Gonzo style.
Yeah, well,
Easier that way. Just,
yeah.
you know.
But I did that. I made a movie when we lived up in New Jersey. It was a short horror film. It's terrible. It's almost, I don't want to say it's unwatchable, right? But it's just not good.
I want to watch it.
I'll send it to you, man.
I'll watch the hell out of it.
It's on YouTube.
I'll get blazed and watch it and laugh. And I'll love it.
So
It'll be embarrassing, Eric, if I have to
it's
see
a little-
your product and it's
You'll
really bad. I'm like, oh my God.
You'll have to look me in the eye and be like, ugh. But the point is, it doesn't matter how it came out because I really liked who I was when I was doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that it's done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with being in a band and playing these shows. Like you mentioned, we got to open for Fear. We got to play with Co-Defendants. We have Agent Orange coming up in February.
That's
just
killer,
to share this stage with bands that mean that much to me.
Here's a fun fact. Flea was in Fear.
Yeah.
I remember that.
A lot. Yeah. You know, like if you got to be like a real Red Hot Chili Peppers, aficionado to know that. But yeah, he was in that band.
So, Eric, let's just talk about being in a band as your hobby.
Well, also, I was going to ask him just quickly about you're stepping into a band that's already established.
Yeah.
How do you give your Eric parts without necessarily taking away from stuff that the guys that are already in the band like or dislike, or were there talks about that, or is it open, or was it difficult?
When I first came in, it's almost like walking on eggshells because you're the new guy and you've got these established records out. But I like melody. You and I are both big Descendants fans.
Yeah, I love Descendants.
That kind of stuff, sort of in my DNA. So songs that were a little shoutier, I was adding melody to.
Nice.
Just to feel it out, just to that's just where I come from. And then as I got to write songs for the band and with the band, a lot of that old stuff is getting phased out because luckily they like the direction it's going in with me as a songwriter. So everything kind of fell into place and worked. There was definitely a world in which I brought a song to a band and was like, what do you guys think of this? And they're all just kind of looking at each other like you would look at me after you watch my short horror film.
Right. This is garbage.
You're right.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when earlier on, years and years and years ago, probably 25 years ago, when I was singing in a band, I remember I took over for somebody else. But it didn't go quite that way. It was more of why can't you do it like this guy can?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was hard. It was very, very difficult. And that thing, it became less of me and the band and me more like, I'll just perform it the way you want it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not mine, so I'll just perform it the way you want it and distance myself from it.
What do you think the minimum commitment is to Dad being in a band? Like, what would you have to? How many practice days and performing?
I thought
days?
of that yesterday when I was thinking of our friend Chris from Tactical Brewing. I was like, well, because you know how much I like music, so of course it would be a daydream when I see Chris from Tactical, when I see Pabone, good buddies of ours that are doing it. I think, well, I kind of want to do it, right? I want to play in a band. Yeah. So I thought of that. I was like, how often does our buddy Chris, how often does Pabone have to play or practice with these guys in order for them to get a quality sound?
1 day a week.
Okay.
2-3 hours. That's it.
But
keep in mind, we're a punk rock band, so we're not as musical as we're not out there doing Joe Satriani. Like we're
right.
Of course, it all varies. But what I'm saying is that it seems like if you were going to choose a hobby and join a band, you can do 1 day a week practice and then perform on the weekends.
Right.
And what I'm saying is, I feel like more people should do that. And it seems to be a rarity. Like we mentioned earlier, people just give up on playing their instrument because there's no money to be made. But it's but you'll spend time and money on all these other hobbies you have, and this one was your first love. Why not do it? Make yourself happy. Perform. Play music.
Yeah. Everybody that I know in the punk rock scene that's making music, it's that pure. We love doing this. We may sell a T-shirt or two, or a record, or a door split at a venue, but it's not. It's not about we're going to get rich off of this by any means. It's just we love doing this. We love the community, and there's a DIY sort of ethos to it that's survived years and years and years of changing tastes and all that. So
you did it as a young man. Now you're doing it again as I would say, a younger, middle-aged man.
Yeah.
What's different Is it pretty much the same? Is it all digital now? Are there things you hate now that you're like, we don't get to do that anymore?
So, like, we all kind of grew up together. So
Yeah.
you go to a show and it's a different vibe. It's a lot of old fat dads, you know?
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is, it all comes around and now we're seeing more kids. And kids are doing weird stuff that I can't relate to. Which, when I give it some thought, I really love, because this has to be like how my parents felt when they watched me perform punk rock songs. I'm watching kids bring out, like chainsaws with no blades and putting them up against pickups and making weird noise. And I'm like, it's not, I don't want to say it's not for me, but I run into it like, I don't get it.
Oh, that's stupid, Eric. let's just be honest. You put some chainsaw.
Take your
get some
chainsaw.
pickup.
Who do you think you are, Jesse James Dupree from the band Jackal?
You're doing
It's
stupid
been
stunts.
done.
Like,
knock that off.
yeah, I could understand like a different version of punk rock or something.
There is that. Yeah, there's fresh takes on it. There's bands, that you hear and you're like, wow, that's really, it's punk rock, right? It has that in its makeup, but it's different. It's doing some different things, different stuff than I would do.
What is it like when you guys open for a established and popular punk rock band? Let's take like Co-Defendants, for example, which are on Fat Records. They're kind of a Fat Mike like project, right?
Yeah.
Or he at least was part of the vehicle, and now they tour obviously without him, right? Because is he a member of that band at all, or
just a recorder, producer, songwriter kind of guy.
Yeah, are these guys, because I we hear this from a lot of people that think, Co-Defendants, they're on a record label, they're touring the country. I follow them on Instagram, tons of people follow them. Are these people still, quote, punk? Are they as, like, because it does seem like they are not getting rich. It does seem like they are just regular guys playing music. Like, I think a lot of people I know make more money than Co-Defendants.
Sure.
Is that true?
That's true. And me personally, I get intimidated because, like I said, I listen to music. It means a lot to me. That record blew my socks off.
Oh, I thought it was fantastic. It's the only hybrid of punk and I'd say like hip hop that I've heard in like the last 10 years that I think they did it right.
Yeah.
Like it's a blend. It's not trendy to be trendy. It actually works.
It's very vulnerable. It's very original.
It's gritty too.
Yeah. And so I'm transparent. I roll up to that show and I told Chesky and Sam King.
Yeah.
I'm a massive fan. And I'm going to fangirl for a second. I'm not trying to be cool, man, just because we're on the bill. Like, I'm so nervous meeting you right now. We met leaving at the Fear Show, dude, and the dude's like a grandpa. He's like a little man.
He's so cute,
yeah. And it's funny because, like, I had this image of these guys in my head from, like, Decline of Western Civilization, like this ripped, crazy. And he's the sweetest dude. Everybody I've met, from that, I guess, level has been really sweet.
So let's say you get the TikTok hit.
Okay, here he goes.
$400,000 world tour. You got to leave your family and tour
for $100,000 or
$400,000.
Why don't you just make it $500,000?
Yeah. No. Let's just reach. You got to pay the other band.
I love how exact you are.
Yeah.
I love
that. He
loves this so much. Pavone will let you eat cake.
This style
he
music,
wants you to be comfortable.
The $400,000. You're like, we're gonna go.
How long do I have
the
to
West
leave
Coast.
My family? You're talking to me?
It's a year tour. So it's like 52 weeks. You get to go home for Christmas.
Leave Andrea and Maisie for 52 weeks for $400,000.
Well, you get to fly back every once in a while.
I'm not a money guy. I'm the worst.
The birthdays.
No.
You take a little break in the summer. They always, it's.
Can I fly them out?
It's gonna be.
Can I cheat? Can I cheat on my wife while I'm out?
Yeah, of course you can.
Because I'm gonna be lonely. I'm gonna be very lonely.
Well, that's what punk rock bands do.
Can I sire a daughter like Dave Grohl?
Yeah. I used to think you were pure Fat Mike, and then you got the whatever
Soma snake oil.
Soma snake oil.
She's a porn star, and then we're standing there at House of Blues in Loge, looking down there, and I go, I think that's Soma snake oil, and I see her, you disgusting bitch.
So would you do it, Babone?
No, man, I would bring my family.
They're not even together anymore. Sorry, I don't mean to scream about that, but Fat Mike and Soma are no longer together.
Fat Mike.
So you wouldn't do it for $400,000?
Man, I like to involve my family as much as I can, and I know I mentioned my kids. My 12-year-old daughter's really into music. It's really rare that your kids ever care about anything you do.
Oh, I know.
I'm sure you guys know that.
God almighty. Damn, I know it.
Well, here's the mind F is when your kids are old enough to tell their dad, like, I know you don't want to leave us, but $400,000, you should live your dream. The kids are telling you to do it. Then you're like, oh God, I'll do it then. because then if I stay with them, then they're like,
but it's not about what they say. I think to you, it's more about being with them.
Yeah.
I just don't think you could do it. I don't think I could either.
Well, so you present to you the cash, and then you got Maisie saying like, "Go do it, Dad. I'll be fine here. We can talk on FaceTime." And then you're like, "Oh, okay. Well, maybe I will."
I don't think I could. I don't think I'm too weak. I don't think I can do it.
I'm with you, man. I'm too weak. Yeah, I got to be around my kids.
Yeah. But the cheating is kind of pushing me towards it.
Yeah. Then every time you're sitting on the couch scrolling, and then you're like, "Well, I gave them $400,000 for this." They're playing Roblox, and I'm on a couch scrolling. You're playing video games. You're like, I'm not even hanging out with them. Anyway, sorry, Pabone.
I didn't think about that. That's an excellent point.
Plug your band one more time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. TV Generation. We are on Instagram and Facebook, and that's about it because we are of a certain age. We don't understand anything else. Yeah. Oh, I was going to say.
You get on TikTok. Trump brought it back.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
now
it is
better than ever.
I have a special place in my heart for TikTok.
We'll get on there now. Now's the time.
Yeah.
Now's the time. I will plug some shows.
Do it. And these are shows that everybody should come out to. Support not only local music, but BDMs and Tom and Dan listeners that play local music. We got a lot of guys that play in bands.
Thank you, man. So February 8th, we're playing the Sanford Punk Fest at West End. 3 stages, 21 bands. It's only $20, and it's really good bands, man. It's The Attack. It's the Bastard Sons, 430
How many
Steps.
bands?
21.
21 bands, and it's $20. It's less than $1 a band.
That's a bargain.
For less than $1 a band.
That's crazy. That's going to be a good time. February 15th, we're at the Dunes in Cocoa Beach with 77 Swindle and Billy Doom is Dead. February 16th, Cigar City Tattoo Festival.
Oh, nice.
Ybor City, the Cuban Club. 21st of February, Pineapples in Melbourne, kind of like an Oi show with Hub City Stompers, Control This.
It's going to be cool to see Oi at a place called Pineapple.
Yeah. Melbourne and the pineapples. Yeah. Pineapples this, Pineapple Man.
Yeah. You know what it is.
You're known for pineapples? Why do you like pineapples so much?
Yeah, I know why they know it.
I'll report back on the pineapples.
I know why they know it. It's not just welcome in Hawaii.
And this is a big one, February 22nd, West End in Sanford. Our buddies at the West End are hosting Agent Orange. Again, only a $20 show.
Nice.
If you need tickets for that, email us, tvgenerationpunks@gmail.com, or check our social media, and we will get you tickets.
There you go. It's making it it's making it impossible for you to not go. Yeah, which is a very kind thing for you to do. Pabone, we love you. Thank you for helping us with art and making us look so great.
Thank you.
Give some love to the family, please.
Yep, and we will be right back. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. All right, we're taking calls.
Yeah,
live calls.
Tradio is open if you would like to call the
about
show.
anything, though. If you just say Tradio, then people are like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
I can't just
anything on your mind.
Yeah. Could be Tradio.
Could be Tradio. You might want to tell us how good we are. You might have a question for us. You might have something going on in your life you need help with. Your children might need discipline. I'm self-proclaiming myself an amazing father because my daughter is accomplishing great things. So
I like that.
So I look in the mirror and I go, you are doing that. Yeah, I look at the trophies and that are in her room, multiple trophies in her room. 10, maybe even 15 different trophies. Those are my trophies. I made those trophies. We have our first call, Mr. Van.
All right.
Oh, just testing the phone lines. Caller, thank you for calling A Corporate Time. You have your say.
Hi, I am trying to make my lunch, and I pulled out some Publix white American cheese with a pack date of 10/24/2024. Should I eat it?
Are there any discolorations on? Is it American cheese, you said?
It is white American. There's no discolorations, and it looks good, but that's 3-month-old cheese. And I don't know.
Hold on, cheese is aged.
That's just oil.
Cheese is aged, and that is oil. But it's never been used. I think you're good.
Yeah.
I think you're good as long as you don't have any discolorations.
But even discolorations, you could eat. People eat moldy cheese all the time. It's not going to hurt you.
I don't eat moldy cheese.
No. Well, I mean, but you can eat. What Tom is saying is, though, it's not going to hurt you to eat moldy cheese. I would even argue that you shouldn't be eating white American cheese in the first place because the only American cheese is yellow American cheese. Thank you and good night.
Ouch.
yeah. But I prefer the term white American.
right, sure.
It is 2025.
correct. Tom is on brand.
Yeah.
I think you're good. What else is on there? You got ham? You said you got ham on this?
Yeah, I got some ham, a little Hellman's mayonnaise.
Yep, that's the right one.
Bread.
That's the right one. You know what?
I don't do that Miracle Whip stuff. It's too sweet for my taste.
No. I love the Miracle Whip, but you know what? I'm gonna go a little harder on this one. Thank you for calling, ACT. I'm gonna go a little harder on this one, and I'm gonna go a little more specific than I normally do. I am not a Duke's mayonnaise guy on sandwiches. I do like Duke's mayonnaise, but only when I'm preparing like a potato salad, a coleslaw, a dish.
Okay.
If I'm doing a sandwich, I like Hellman's.
Okay. All right.
If I want mayonnaise. But normally, I'm Miracle Whip Danny. I'm weird. I'm all over the place.
I grew up Miracle Whip only, so I prefer it in all sandwiches.
Now, what is Marigold Whip? Tell me about this Marigold Whip here.
Miracle.
Okay, Miracle?
Miracle?
It's Miracle. With an I, not an A, right?
Miracle Whip?
Not Miracle Whip. I ain't never had a real bed before. What are we doing? What is happening to you? Marigold Whip. What is Marigold Whip?
No, you know what I mean. Goddamn tangy mayonnaise.
It's got to have the specks of the paprika in it. The little red specks of paprika in it. Well, thank you for our one and only call of the day. And that has been Tom and Dan's live open phone.
We'll get more callers.
As they trickle in.
You know, every time I make myself a sandwich, I would eat when I was a child,
a boy.
You know, whether it be bologna and cheese or like just a ham and cheese sandwich with Miracle Whip.
Bologna, thick bologna, right?
Yeah.
I've never eaten thin bologna in my life. Not even one time.
Do they make a thin bologna?
Yeah, I think that's the origin bologna. I think most people
like thinly cut like a ham?
Not chipped or shaved.
Okay.
But like thin, like regular.
Okay, all right.
And then thick cut. We used to get Winn-Dixie brand thick cut bologna with the red plastic on the side, and my dad loved it.
I hate that red plastic. I
mean, you don't have to eat it. You can just take it off. What? Thanks for calling a corporate time. Do you eat the plastic on your bologna?
Turn down your radio, sir.
This is the best part of doing it. I've missed this part. Turn down your radio, please.
Hello?
I'm going to say a radio. Yeah. We're not even broadcasting this for days.
I need to ask the Jew something. I'd like to ask the Jew. Hello?
He wants to do Ask a Jew. Moira,
hold on. Sir, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Can we, you want to guess what I'm hauling?
He has his radio just blasting. Do you want to guess what I'm hauling?
Oh, did Phil's File used to do Ask a Jew?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Would that fly now? Yeah, it would fly. You could do it. Yeah. You got to be careful, though. No, I don't know. I don't know if it would.
You could ask me.
We've had a rough couple of years.
I could answer anything.
Ask a dude. Ask a dude.
Yeah. I could answer anything a Jewish person could answer.
I can answer any question.
I could do.
I really feel like I can. I really feel like I can give you an answer for every question.
Yeah.
Oh, God, sorry. Hey, thanks for calling a corporate time. Who's this? This is Tom and Dan's live action calls.
Hey, Tom and Dan. This is Tyler.
Tyler, you know we never knew your name, Tyler the historian.
Yeah, I wanted to say thank you for the kind words you left on the... I've been a bit behind on shows, but you put some kind words there at the end of the year, and I appreciate it.
Oh, well, I'm glad you liked it, man. So what's on your mind?
You're that far behind? I mean, how much do you really like the show?
Yeah, that's true.
The podcast that I like, I listen to every episode, and I can't wait till the new episode drops, and then I listen to it. I'm never really that behind. I don't go back and listen to the end of the year best of months later. Sorry. Go ahead.
Do you listen, Tom, do you listen to podcasts that put out shows every day?
That's too much.
What do you get, like a weekly guys?
Yeah. I'm more of a weekly man myself.
Yeah.
The ones that do it every day,
like
too
a Sunday
much.
Newspaper.
Who do you think you are? You think you got enough content to fill every day? Oh, sorry, go
That's
ahead.
hilarious.
No, I wanted to know how you guys would handle a Freaky Friday situation with yourselves.
Oh, what? Like if I pee in a fountain and then Tom gets to sleep with my wife and I sleep with his wife? I would do that. I've been talking about it. In fact, we have a bit we want to set up for Valentine's Day. Can I talk about it?
Well,
Can we
not
talk
yet.
about-
No, not yet, because I don't. We have
I feel
to.
very comfortable on the show.
Okay, all right.
right? I feel very comfortable on the show. So I came up with this bit I want to do where I'm going to buy gifts for Tom's wife for Valentine's Day, and he's going to buy gifts for my wife on Valentine's Day, and the winner gets a night of,
with the other's wife,
dancing in the playground, in the pale moonlight.
Yeah. And so, what were you going to talk about Freaky Friday?
Well, I was wondering how you guys would handle it, and then how you think if it happened to your wives, would they tell you? How would they handle it? Do you think?
I don't even know what Freaky Friday means.
It's just we swapped brains.
It's like you wake up in each other's bodies.
Well,
the first thing I do is stop running. I'm done with this garbage. All right, and then I'd
Yeah. Then we try to bang each other's wives. I just told you.
But I would know. Do I know?
And I guess who would be the luckier individual of that one?
Do I know I'm in Tom's body, or am I not aware of this?
No, you two are the only two when you wake up that are aware.
But do I know I'm in his body? So I know it. I'm like, oh, I'm in Tom's body. Okay, then I'd go down. I'd go to the worst part of Orlando, and I just start banging like crack whores.
Hold on, what are you doing out of my body?
That's how it works. That's how it works. It's to switch me back. I'm going to do bad things.
Why are you doing
I'd be smoking crack.
Why are you smoking crack?
I would smoke crack. I'd wear a diaper and poop myself.
Why are you doing that?
I don't know.
No. Like, you take advantage.
I'm an emotional person. I'm mad that you did this to me.
Yeah.
Even though I don't know for certain that you did this to me.
I would immediately start working as, how millionaires hire little people to dress like leprechauns and throw them around. And then
all right, I like the way you're going, because that's kind of on brand for what I would do.
Which
we both would destroy each other's bodies.
And,
is that the right answer?
And bang each other's wives.
Yeah, well, we bang each other's wives first, and then we destroy the other's bodies. Would we ever meet up and talk about it?
Yeah, because I'm sure. Well, the first thing I'd do if I woke up as you, I would vomit. I'd be disgusted.
That's the funniest thing you've ever said.
And then I would contact Tom Van, because I'm like, obviously, if I'm Daniel, then Daniel's me.
If you're going to try to hurt me like that, then the first thing I would do when I wake up is I would walk to your son's room and I would say, boys, everything I've told you is a lie, and I am an alcoholic.
They're like, we knew it.
They're like, confirmed. And then I'd vomit.
We talk about it. All right, Tyler. I forgot what you did for a living, Tyler.
Yeah, I don't talk about it. I negotiate broadcasting contracts.
We need that. We need that. Negotiate. Get us a lot of money.
Hold on, you negotiate broadcasting for radio people?
A plethora of, some NFL contracts, some. Yeah,
he does NFL contracts. He got Dan Quinn.
What?
He got Dan Quinn the Washington deal. Did you know that? That was a historian.
You got a brown tooth Quinn deal. So hold on, historian. I would have not in a million years.
You know why I love this segment?
Negotiating contracts.
The segment's insane. This segment's crazy.
So you represent different entertainers, and you go to the companies and you negotiate their contracts.
No, I represent a company in which we do the capacity planning. Like, I'll give you an example. If
don't get yourself into trouble, though.
No, I won't. If certain national football teams in certain areas need to capacity plan for a certain amount of audience they expect watching either a broadcast of the game or a live event or Super Bowl or what have you, I would be part of the team putting all of that together, from the infrastructure to the people involved. That's basically it.
Cool.
Everything up to the.
Would you like to do? Would you like to do a weird job? Would you like to do a weird job Wednesday?
Could we hire you to negotiate for us?
I wouldn't probably take the job, but I
didn't want it anyway. I didn't want to be a part. That was Tom saying that. I think you sound like a fool.
Hold on,
I would never hitch my wagon to yours.
Hold on, we call you the historian because you consume so much of this show
But
that
does
you remember.
But does he really? I'm really
Well,
soured
in
to
my
him.
mind.
Between the comment he said to you earlier and this, I think I've soured to him a bit.
And then I offer you a chance to represent your favorite podcast.
He never said we were his favorite. He never said that. Don't put words in his mouth.
It's got to be one of your favorites. Your nickname is the historian of a show.
I gave him that. That's my fault. I did that.
Yeah, but you leave so many messages.
A lot of people don't like that. A lot of people say he doesn't know enough about the show.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't matter. It's just, huh?
You guys wouldn't need me. I work on a bigger scale with technology that you guys just simply wouldn't need to deal with.
Oh, you simpleton! Don't need my lasers, is what I heard.
Why are you insulting us?
I'm a sensitive person, and I'm glad you're finally sensitive with me. I heard the sensitive man heard. You don't need my lasers, hillbillies. That's what I heard.
Yeah. I've seen NFL players who are just as good as they are.
Yeah, we're smarter than them, I think.
Have you seen Frank Gore? I'm at least as smart, maybe a tick below Frank Gore, but on the same spectrum. All right.
Well, hey, thanks for calling, Tyler. We appreciate it. Now we know your name. Would you prefer us call you Tyler?
Yeah.
That's probably better, right?
It doesn't. No, I appreciate the nickname, but it doesn't really matter. Last thing I wanted to say is, Tom, say Google.
All right, this guy.
You're bullying. He turned on you.
Yeah, hold on. I don't need these nerds bullying me.
He got a girlfriend. He got a girlfriend.
I bully those nerds.
No, he got a girlfriend. You can feel the confidence, right? He's like, I'm going to call into my favorite podcast. Never said that. I'm going to bully the dumb one.
Yeah, say like I have too much technology to negotiate for you fools.
Thanks for calling A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. This is Dan speaking. How may I direct your call?
Yes. Could you put me as an anonymous person, please?
Hold on 1 second, EJ. All right, you are now anonymous.
Okay, so I have a problem. I'm not going to tell you which child, but one of my children got caught using a calculator during a math class, and the teacher told me about it. See, I'm not really mad about it because she knows how to use it, do the math without the calculator, but I think she was just doing it because it was more efficient. How should I scold or discipline my child because of this?
I just watched a Bob's Burgers that handled all of this.
All right.
Louise had pulled down a boy's pants and had to go to the guidance counselor to get in trouble, right? But it turned out that the reason she pulled down the little boy's pants was because he had stolen another child's lunchbox and was tossing it back and forth. So she was actually doing something good. So then her mom snuck her out of detention and took her to the fair. So they had a good time. So I think that in this particular area, I think it's okay to let her know that maybe her process was right and that in the real world you're going to do that. But for right now, the teacher needs to know that you know what's really going on and it's kind of breaking the rules. But hey, I like your ingenuity. That's what I would do.
That's what I kind of figured. I didn't want to be mad at her because, I know she knows how to do the stuff. And she does it at home without the calculator. I think she was just trying to do it fast, and she's like, why isn't this teacher wasting my time?
Well, she's cheating, which I personally like.
Yeah, you love it.
Yeah. That's how I cheated my way through all school, right?
This is probably why your wife thinks you're going to cheat on her, right? Is that you, every show that we do, you yell, I love cheating.
Yeah. But you don't.
Is that why Tom stole the Miracle Whip bit from Family Guy that he just did a couple minutes ago?
Well, how dare you?
Oh, my God. Yeah, EJ, if I had a nickel for every bit he sold from Family Guy, I'd be rich and not have to do this show. I would have to be here.
But my point is...
I have to figure out what that was. I've never seen that.
You don't want your daughter turning out like me. That's all I'm saying.
I totally agree.
And I don't...
Although, have you seen you as a woman? You're beautiful.
It's you don't want someone who looks at a task and then the only thing they could think of is how to get around doing it the right way.
I don't think you've ever put it like that. You know what? When you put it like that, it's silly but poetic at the same time.
And everything that anybody presents to me, and they're like, here it is, and all like that is like, how can I
do this incorrectly?
Or just get to the end faster.
What's the least traditional way I can do this with the most amount of cheating a system.
Let's just say I hate corners and I want to cut them all. And and you don't want a corner cutter.
You know what? SJ in our Twitch chat room, in YouTube, he makes a great point that I think you're going to hear this now more than ever, and I've never thought about this. He was like, at least it was a calculator and not ChatGPT. And I'm like, hold on, you just blew my mind. You're right. You still have to know most of the process or what numbers to hit and what you're doing to even input it into a calculator. If you're just giving the numbers to a computer and it's solving it, that's like 100 steps further down the road. So, yeah, calculators are pretty rudimentary when you think about it now. I mean, you can put any equation into Google, ChatGPT, Alexa, and it'll basically do the math for you.
I did hear Neil deGrasse Tyson talk about a subject that I've always bitched about, is like, you'll never use this math anytime when you're an adult, right? And he explained it in a way that I kind of understood, although I need more clarification. But he was like, it's not about using any of this math later on in life, because most likely you will not, right? It's about learning how to, do this math and learning how to get to the correct answer.
Sure.
That forms a neural pathway in your brain, which helps you problem solve later on in life.
Critical thinking skills.
With a bunch of different things, not necessarily even to do with this math, but it helps you solve other problems.
Right.
And so learning all these math equations and how to do it just opens up neural pathways in your brain that you could use later.
Yeah, I've heard it called mastering a difficult, and I can't remember the third thing there. It's like but you're taking a concept that is foreign to you, you're understanding it, learning it, and then applying it.
Yeah, it's like learning how to learn, and it's advantageous for young people to learn how to learn new things, even if they're never going to use this specific thing. But that process of learning is how your brain gets better.
I'm going to use that line. I'm going to use that line on girls when they're like, what do you like doing? I'm going to be like, I just love learning to learn.
Now, here's the problem with all that. I can get behind it, but the problem is like later on in life, I'm just like, well, what part of that is helping me now? And they're like, no, I didn't know. So I was like,
why do you always have to know, though? Why do you always
What does Crystal says?
Oh, damn, you yelled at me.
What are your football picks this weekend? Because everyone loves to hear about your football and talk about it for a long time.
No, he doesn't. He's swearing that away. I'm hanging up on you. Hanging up on you. Get out of here. We did have a BDM yell at us about no more football talk. Hey, it's almost over. We're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It'll be done in literally a month and we're out.
And by the way, for that one BDM he yelled at, I was reading through the comments, and the majority of people are like, I like it. So it's like, how do you can't please everybody.
Really surprised me there. Not surprised, because I'm not this type of guy, but it was weird to see how many women, I think it was almost 50-50 in there. There were tons of ladies in there like, hey, no, don't take away my football. I didn't know. I'd be interested to know. When I was a boy, let's say 1985, when I'm watching football with my mom and dad, right?
Yeah.
Till now, what part of NFL viewership is female? What percentage shifted? It's got to be way higher now.
Oh, yeah.
Highest of all sports?
Don't know that, but...
Got to be.
I know that...
It's got to be more than basketball. Girls don't like basketball. I don't see girls rep it. My wife does, but she's weird. Andrea likes all sports. She's weird.
Yeah, but they don't
girls like football.
Yeah, then they definitely don't like men or women's basketball. They don't like it at all.
Girls do like baseball, though. I would give them that.
See,
I see a lot of girls talk about baseball. Baseball and football are more girl. There are more girl viewers, I believe. Hockey, some girls.
I think of the NFL.
Soccer, a lot of girls. A lot of girls like soccer.
That's true, but do they watch it? That's the problem.
Not as much as guys. I think they like football.
Yeah, and I think it's just
Is that because
it's America's most popular sport?
Is it a direct result of anything the NFL did?
Well,
and I'm not talking about Taylor Swift. I'm talking about a greater conversation before. To me, that's an outlier. I'm talking about general.
They took away some of the violence, which I'm sure just stereotypically females probably didn't like as much in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? Like when people were getting knocked out left and right and, things like it still happens, but it's more rare, right? Because they've tried to clean up the violence and then they've made it more family friendly. I think they try their best to sweep any, knocking out your old lady in an elevator on the road. It happens every once in a while.
Did he knock her? Was he in there with her, and did he knock her out, and then it went down with her unconscious body in the?
There's a video of it.
No, I know. I saw it at one time. I remember Sam pulled it up one time. Like, oh my god, that is terrible.
Yeah. I think he did the old knock her out and then grabbed her before she hit the computer.
Right.
Because he's a gentleman. He's like, oh,
chivalry is not dead.
We gotta go. All right. Well, that was Tom and Dan call-in show.
Yeah.
Every Thursday at 1.
We do
even though we're airing this later.
We do a hard 20 minutes of lightning calls.
Yeah. So if you want to participate, Thursday at 1.
Yeah. Thursdays at 1, we start doing it. You can call us 1-844-866-6326 is the number, or 1-844-TOMNDAN. That's 844 Tom and Dan.
I like telling an old school traditional radio man that we do a call-in show that we air a week later. Or if we do a live call-in show that we air on the radio 5 days later.
Can I ask you one more thing? Before we get out of here, one more thing. Did you see that email? I forwarded it to you, and it's this guy that says he owns time on all these radio stations across North America, and he's like, "Hey, have you ever wanted your podcast on syndicated radio?"
Oh yeah. I saw that email.
I feel like we should mess around with that guy or do something silly with him. Because he's a real guy. I looked him up. He's on LinkedIn. He's like, it's not not weird. I wonder what he charges.
He's just selling time like a...
What do you think it costs to get your show, your 1 hour podcast on like a little AM station?
A couple $100 an hour? Maybe $500 an hour? I don't know. It depends on the number.
I bet it's more than it's worth, I'll tell you that.
I remember Rural Radio's number at a time, but I can't remember.
Oh, we should yell that on here.
I will. I'll say it.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, but you could buy...
anything you want.
Any time on radio stations on the weekends and stuff.
You can buy children.
They sell that, and then I'm sure some broker buys a lot of it and then resells it for a little margin.
And weed is legal. Right? You can buy anything you want these days. Anything you want. You want to buy a nitrous? Hey, you can buy it.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow.